See at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Come in the lane. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.
Nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to DannyBTalks for NWP tonight. We are joined alongside our usual panel here of Eric Eustep and Jarrett the Iceberg Lundberg. Gentlemen, it was Talladega, the biggest track out there, the granddaddy of them all, and it left a very sour taste in our mouth. Austin Cindric gets the win with a good margin of victory. Nobody was right beside of him, obviously, as the finish results show after this race. There was no number 60 car right there. It didn't happen. It didn't exist. There was no photo finish. Very clear victory over Kyle Larson in second.
There is no Ryan Preece in Bossing Say.
But it was good to see Austin Cindric get his third career win. Obviously, in the moment, not knowing what was going to end up happening to Ryan Preece, was going to feel like a good feel-good story either way, seeing either Austin get his third win or Preece getting his first career win. Would have felt great seeing Preece get that first career win after what's happened to him after a few of the most recent Superspeedway finishes. But that is the one thing that I'm taking away from this. Like, some people got mad at me, like, why did you actually enjoy that finish? And I did to an extent because I don't like seeing these things end and stack them up, smack them up, fiery crashes all the time. And I did enjoy at least that aspect of this race, that we ended under green. It would have been a little bit better had that lap traffic not been there. I don't necessarily think that they played a factor in, but it depends on, that's a debate. I've seen some people say it did. Some people don't think it did. In the end, Austin Cindric, though, is your winner. And I'm just happy, even though no one tried to make a move that would have been nicer, I'm happy we ended under green. And that's my biggest takeaway from this race.
Yeah, I agree. We've had a sort of an unfortunate streak of unsatisfying super speedway finishes. I mean, even the Xfinity Series race, whether you think it was the right call or not, it's always a bummer when a crash on the back straightaway robs us potentially of a 2 or 3 wide finish at the line. I mean, fans want to see the finish happen right in front of them, right at that start finish. They don't want the finish of these races decided by the push of a button, or in the case of the Daytona 500, a massive crash that's sparked by the leaders, allowing 6th place to scoot through the win. Like, it's fun every now and then, but not every single super speedway weekend, which is what it was starting to feel like. So I'm with you, Danny. I know we'll talk about the racing product itself more broadly. I think that left a lot to be desired. You're right. But the most satisfying part of this race was the lack of carnage at the finish. Felt like all the legitimate drivers and teams were up front when it mattered.
That's true.
Yeah, and I'd agree on that part of it. Like that, I kind of like said it when I went live after the race that like the criticism that we know is going to be levied and we're going to talk about with this race had nothing to do with there wasn't enough crashes. It shouldn't be expected to have a ton of crashes to make a good Talladega race. I just also think too, fans either are so used to everything being a crash them up, green, white checker every race at a super speedway kind of deal, or they've lowered the bar so much that it's like, this is a novelty for us now. Like, man, the greatest stock car drivers in the world have they managed to get a race finished under green. It's like, yeah, I mean, I remember back as a kid, like that was pretty much the norm. That was the meta back then. So I'm glad to. I agree. I'm just so surprised that it's like that's because I've noticed that like anyone who talks ill of this, talks about people talking ill of this race are like, well, we had a clean finish and they didn't crash a bunch. That's why you don't like it. Apparently, they didn't crash enough for you. And it's like, no, that's not it.
No, what the problem was that, with all due respect to Austin Cindric, great win. He long overdue considering how many laps he's led at these types of tracks. The problem was that all of the Hendrick cars behind him weren't enough to, on their own, mount a charge to actually compete with the front.
And there was so many there. There was Bowman, there was Byron, Larson, and they couldn't just get together and beat a Hendrick Hendrick bullies and go after him.
There was no gap for them to jump in front of each other. There was no real legit attempt to go to a third lane because even two cars in that outside lane, not enough to get you clear to the lead. More than likely, you're going to hit that wall of air and the drag on the car is going to drag you to the back of the pack. The risk did not outweigh the reward, unfortunately. So that's why we saw basically a 200-mile pace lap on the white flag to decide the race, which is a bummer. But I mean, we can get to that in a second. I don't want to take away from Austin Cindric because, like I said, it's shocking. This is his first super speedway win in over 3 years. It feels like he should have at least one or two others at this point, as good as the Penske cars have been.
And there's a reason, not only the car, there's a reason he's up front, because you can move around more at Atlanta, especially as the track's aged. We've seen people be able to move through the pack more. And we've seen Austin Cindric do that a lot. Like, I think that's also correct not to take it away from, because he, like Denny Hamlin, a lot of the time was in the Gen 6 era, like in the COT era. You know, there were a lot of guys. It wasn't that long of an era to even get from, but like before then, even with like, you know, Juniors, Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, like there's a reason these drivers end up at the front of these races at the end. And even Denny Hamlin has talked about it before of Cindric is a respectful driver. He doesn't, and we'll talk about this too. He does not put people in bad positions, usually, even to his own public detriment. He's generally a driver that is able to take care of his stuff, be patient, know what to do at the right times. Now, at the same time, I think we can kind of plug also in how he got up there and how a lot of those guys got up there to the racing itself and the issues people have with it. But I think even if we didn't have those issues, I still think he'd be running up front in these races, competing for wins.
Something I noticed that I don't know if you guys noticed it or saw it the same way, but in the past few years in these races, the Penske cars spend a lot of time up front in the stages early. Like, they are controlling the race, leading the lines. They lead the most laps. That wasn't the case at Talladega. Logano, to a degree, was up there for most of the afternoon, but like Austin Cindric, they mentioned it in stage 3. He lingered around 20th, 25th, saved as much fuel as he could to help cycle to the front. Ryan Blaney in stage 1 was trying to do the exact same thing, but got caught up when they all crashed on pit road. Unfortunately, didn't work out for him. So I thought it was interesting that the Penske teammates all seem to employ, maybe minus Logano, a slightly different strategy, maybe a little more of a conservative fuel sensitive strategy, I guess. And it worked out. I mean, we've seen them win races the other way too, so I can't say one strategy is better than the other. But I thought it was interesting that Cindric I think he led 7 laps in this race, whereas like at Daytona, he led like 40. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of, I thought that showed a clear difference in philosophy from one race to the next.
Yeah, and I think we saw too, like the detriment to people being up front is every single time there would be a green flag stop, they ended up being at the back. And I think now they've done this so many times, they've kind of mastered it, where they were at least going a little faster this time. At least we weren't watching 170 mile an hour 4 wide. It was like actually closer to like 185, even at 190 at different points. But I think it's like Penske has figured out, if we save our cars and then just shuffle them up at the right time, get the right strategy down, it falls that way. It's probably a better shot at getting the win. And you know, it almost worked without the Ross Chastain block for the Toyotas too, because they were rocketing up before Chastain decided to just park it in front of them. And I found it funny though, like some of the discussion with that was like, should we black flag guys for blocking like that? Like, I think it's stupid personally. I don't like it, but it's not illegal.
Well, but should it be? I think Danny brought up some interesting points and I'd have to watch the replay again. Like, yeah, there are rules about when you're allowed to blend at super speedways because the rate of speed is so dangerous. I think Ross Chastain's pushing it. He did not break the rules as they're currently written. The question is, could NASCAR officiate that more closely in the future? I'm kind of with you. And until we see a dangerous wreck, I say let him go for it. And you know, if you're really that upset with a move that Ross Chastain made, wreck him. I mean, just drive through them. Yeah, you might wreck yourself. That's a risk they're willing to take. That's a risk you'll have to be willing to take either way. You put it in your memory banks for later. I mean, remember when Daniel Suarez, I think was it last year or was it this year's Daytona 500? He lost the draft somehow. The pack swallowed him up. He got in the middle lane. Yeah, it was last year. He tried to get in the middle lane. And and he tried to move up in front of BJ McLeod and wrecked himself. So like that's always a possibility as well. Like what Ross did was, again, high risk, high reward. Like it could have gone really bad, but if it had gone bad, Ross would have paid the price too.
Yeah, I think it would take something as stupid as the Kevin LePage deal to really get NASCAR to step in and do something like that. I don't think they're going to be worried about this too much.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about how there was that wreck. I do want to ask you guys, because I am firmly in the camp that I think he is in this position. Is Brad Keselowski, after his crash, being, I think he's like 80 some, or it'll pop up here, 32nd in points, 81 out of the cut line already. Is Brad Keselowski in must-win territory already? I think so. He is.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I would have said that even before Talladega. Like Talladega is one of the races I thought he could win to get himself in.
Right. I thought he could at least make up some points, like because we saw like Ty Gibbs, he looked dead in the water, and now he's just borderline top 20. Maybe stuff happens, whatnot. Yeah. That should be a good team. You'd think like if Talladega is a place you can make up like 25, 30 points in one race really quickly on the cut line, on different drivers, make up a ton of positions. I think him getting crashed, I mean, to me, it hinges all on Atlanta and Daytona the rest of the way. Like he might pop up, yeah, but that's not a guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the problem is like if all the RFK racing cars were up front, like leading laps and contending, like the 2311 cars are, for example, then I'd say maybe I'd give Brad a good shot of stealing a win somewhere or going on a Ty Gibbs type tear and getting back into contention. But the truth is the RFK racing cars outside of the super speedways are like 8th place at best. Like Chris Buescher's been solidly chugging along, getting top 10s. But if you look at his numbers, he's led 2 laps all season. 2. That's all. And he's not getting stage points either. He's got like less than 20 stage points on the year. And that's their best guy at this moment. So like, yeah, beyond the super speedways, it would take a miracle, I think, for RFK Racing, for Brad especially, to win his way. And he is good at Texas, though, in this car. He's been very solid, good average finish. So, like, I don't want to – I'm not saying he can't make the playoffs, but I agree that it is must win at this point.
Yeah. And I know the other one I saw, I think they put it out today that with that weird-ass crash on that restart with Christopher Bell and Buescher. And I'm wondering still if they put in that insurance claim with Progressive yet. I did see that they're going to modify that backstretch wall, so it's not going to jut out the way it was.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
makes you wonder why they haven't done it before. If it was apparently as easy as, I don't know, a phone call. I mean,
it's probably somebody didn't hit it hard enough or something like that. I don't know. I've always wondered why they have those walls. I get it's probably easier access to the track, but you have to think like at some point those walls are just blatantly dangerous and needlessly dangerous.
Yeah, it's just a really bad angle at what's often a high speed, out of control part of the track. So I'm glad they're making that change. Danny, you led off the show with this though, so we can bring it back to Joey Logano and Ryan Preece. Preece was in that photo finish, but I guess now we have to like use like our AI phone edit to like get him out of the photo because now he's credited with a 38th place finish. What was y'all's reaction to especially for Preece? Like that's brutal. Second place was his best career finish.
It sucks because he literally for once had the super speedway race go the absolute best it possibly could for him, aside from getting the win at the end of the day. And I felt bad to find out that, that happened. And I sent something to our friend Elijah Burke, who works over at RFK Racing right after the race, because I seen something on Ryan Preece's Twitter, which I think Elijah might have helped him do it, where Ryan did a video like, "Oh, my boss follows me on here. Oh, better take all these nice selfies and
that was
say love working here," or something like that.
Amelia came across that on her Twitter feed and literally came up to me out of nowhere and said, "Ryan Preece is funny," and like showed me the video as if I hadn't seen it. And I was like, "Damn, good job, RFK Racing. Well played."
When I saw that, I was like, this has Elijah written all over it, in my opinion. And I sent that to him, and I was like, okay, now you need to do something like just have him smiling as much as he can, like after getting second. And the next day, after we found out all this, Elijah just said to me, like, Ryan Preece looking all disturbed in the media center. Like, yeah, I sent that too soon.
Kiss of death.
Well, so on one hand, like I'm glad that we get the penalties the day of. So it's not like, oh, here comes Tuesday's report and, so and so got DQ'd or encumbered or cucumbered, as the chat would like to say. On the other hand, it's getting really damn old, man. It's like every couple weeks I'm just finding out, like, because every time, I'll do my post race stream, it's good to go, and I like I like to take like an hour or so where I just decompress, don't think about it for a bit, collect thoughts if I'm upset or if I'm happy about it, just sort of bask in the race, whatever. And then I come back to my phone like every 3 weeks now, and it's just like, oh, so and so didn't win. Oh, so and so didn't get a top 5. Oh, so and so got DQ'd for this, and it's just it does get like, it's like I'm almost expecting it at this point that the final results are not the final results.
Yeah, it is getting to that point because I think we're 10 races into the Cup season. I think there have been 3, maybe 4 DQs. The Briscoe one at Daytona wasn't a disqualification, but there was like, he got the 100-point penalty a couple days later. But then even going back to last fall, Bowman at the Roval. So it's like 4 or 5 DQs in like the last 15 races. It's a lot. It's a lot. Not to mention, like you said, Jesse Love got a win taken away in Xfinity and Parker Kligerman had a win taken away in trucks. And it's April. Like, we're still very early in the season. So it's an alarming trend, but because, we mentioned all 3 series, I don't think it's strictly a next gen issue. It's not strictly a super speedway issue even. It's just, I think teams maybe, they haven't changed any of the Xfinity rules in a while. They obviously didn't change any Cup rules last year to this year. The car bodies didn't even change last year to this year. I think maybe everyone's getting a little more comfortable with what they have and is more comfortable pushing the issue and breaking the rules potentially. Like, maybe that's the only thing they can try. Maybe we just need to we need another big rule change and everyone will get back within the box for a short period of time.
Well, it's interesting. It's Ford again. Like, it seems like Ford is the ones, especially in Cup, that get the majority of these DQs or the big penalties. It doesn't matter what team it is. It was Stewart Haas back in the day. It's RFK. It's Penske. It's like the Ford seem to get the majority of these. It's a pattern I've noticed.
Going back to think about Joe Logano being part of this, and Austin Cindric, I feel like we kind of just glossed over his win here a little bit more. But at one point, coming out of stage 2, I think it was like Logano was just pissed at the way Cindric like handled that. And it's like, in the end, dude, calm down. Like, the race is a lot further from being over. And at the end, Austin Cindric got the W. And he was so mad about giving all the Toyotas. Where were the Toyotas at the end of this? They had one in the top 10, Bubba Wallace. The rest is Chevy and a couple of Fords.
Well, and that was only because Bubba Wallace was only up there because Ty Dillon ran out of fuel. And bunched up the field. Like, it wasn't like he charged up through the field.
That's another thing. Man, I still have a prediction on this show of Ty Dillon not making a top 10 the entire season. And I was thinking, man, I'm going to get that prediction wrong. And then not me and Claudia cheering loudly when we saw him falling out of the top 10.
Praise Ty Dillon. But yeah, I rolled my eyes at that when it happened, the audio thing of him basically just like, F him, then, blah, 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 this and that. You always have to take it with a little grain of salt just because it's heat of the moment and stuff. But I also kind of don't subscribe to that because heat of the moment, people sometimes show you like what they're actually thinking or what they think of a person. And it just seemed like that one was just like barbed and thrown just a little more precisely at Austin Cindric. Like, it did not seem to me like that was just, oh, he's mad at a driver, when he was like giving very specific critiques.
And there goes Eric. He's on his McDonald's Wi-Fi.
At this point, McDonald's, it's White Castle Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we'll carry the show for a little bit. I did want to also point out kind of shout out a few names I saw around the top 10 here too. Hocevar, he got 6th. You did have Noah Gragson up there in 4th. He matched his car number this week. And then Suarez also hanging around the top 10, and Austin Dillon. Well, Austin Dillon gets in, thankfully, after a DQ or 2. Yeah, and Michael McDowell, he actually had the fastest lap of the race at 47.9. I think he's the only driver who actually got into the 47-second range. That was a heck of a lap by him at one point.
Yeah, because I think he was at the back during like a run for
Yeah.
fuel mileage and all of that. I did want to go back and
Sorry.
I just want to go back and look on a thing because of the Chipper Jones stuff.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's what there's two sides of it for me. One side of it for me is like that there's probably a professional athlete that's high profile, going to be seen by a lot. I believe Hall of Famer. I'm not too well versed on his career, but on one side it's like you probably shouldn't be making public disputes and airing dirty laundry and stuff like that out on social media. The other end of me though is saying this is funny as hell. I would love to see more of this from people back and forth. And if you're going to say something over a public radio, you should expect public criticism from people. So I honestly would love to see Chipper Jones just rant over and over and over again about NASCAR stuff. It does seem like he has a little bit against Joey Logano in particular, though, because he kept hammering him, man. And then he got DQ'd, and I think he said something like, "My date was just made." And I'm like, he is a professional Joey Logano hater. Like, people like us might criticize Logano last year or any of the other stuff like that. But that he is just purely like running on spite and dreams of Logano failure.
I mean, to be fair, like I see this from my father-in-law and a few other people I know. Like Logano is he's a very easy driver for people to dislike, but at the same time, if you like him, he's also a very easy driver to like. It's a weird dynamic with Joey Logano. He's always got a smile on his face. Usually, if you get him mad, he gets his voice a little higher pitched, I've noticed. But he can be a very easy driver to root against. He's kind of like an Alabama or Ohio State, and when it comes to college sports, you either love them or you hate them. So
like to me, I kind of almost see him like a Pittsburgh Steelers, where it's like they win a lot, but at the same time, people dislike them for one reason or another. Plus, the color scheme probably helps. But man, I want to see more of that. I want to see more people going back and forth on social media like that, and in person more. Because I think Logano at one point said like, "Yeah, whatever he has to do to stay relevant." And I was just like, "That's great! Like, keep putting gasoline on the fire." I want to see more of that. Like, I would love to see that kind of stuff, because drivers nowadays are so just adverse to any kind of controversy at all, because it's very, the sponsor driven side is so much more important. Social media will blow up at any little thing. People are just, a lot of times, are very soft, and we don't really see it in NASCAR as much as we see it in other sports, where people just start beef and go at it. And if it means that we have a former baseball player go against the defending champion of NASCAR, and the defending champion throws barbs back, I'm all for it, because I know from the past, Joey Logano can throw it back to people. He's not somebody who's just going to sit and take it. Anyone remember his fire suit in the family comments about a decade and a half ago? He hasn't slowed down since.
Jarrett, just keep talking. That whole sentence you just gave NASCAR so much reference right there.
Yeah. I've been featured on there a few times. I appreciate it.
I just heard Joey Logano can throw it back and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah, man. That I guess everyone go tag him.
Now everyone's in the chat saying, "Hey, yo."
Hey, I wasn't the one that noticed it. Fred's getting on that dirty stuff.
Yeah. Update on Eric. He just told us he's trying to get everything restarted, but it's taking him some time. So, real quick before we move on and talk about fuel mileage and stuff a little bit, just want to point out, I'm trying to tell if this is accurate, but on a NASCAR website, it shows me the standings, but I can't see playoff standings, only driver standings on here. Mm-hmm. It now says Austin Cindric moved up eight positions and is now 14th in the driver standing. Let's not forget that earlier this season, he was showing a lot of speed and hanging around the top 10, even top 5 a lot to start the season off. But he had that 50-point penalty after what
Mhm.
was it, Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, because
And
of the intent wreck.
so yeah, so he was in a situation where he really had a hole to climb out of, and now with this win and the driver standings even showing him in 14th, like he's showing that he's got a chance to contend this season. So I'll be interested to see. This has really been, I think, Austin Cindric's I don't know, coming out party, if you will. Like this has been the year where we start to see who Austin Cindric really is in terms of a Cup Series driver. And I mean, I'm happy to start seeing him consistently saying, "Hey, he could, he could win." Like last year, he surprised some people at Gateway with he was in the right place, right time when Blaney ran out of fuel, and maybe now we're going to start seeing him, actually beat a guy a little bit and be a third Penske car out here getting wins too.
Well, I believe he'd be, I think I saw somewhere he'd be top 10 in points without the penalty. But I said the other day that I think that he is somebody who you could probably see being a surprise round of 8 driver. He's
Yep.
pretty good at a lot of these tracks that are in there. Won at a couple of them now. And once you're in the round of 8, I mean, Talladega's in that round now, so anything can happen. On the other end, and I agree with what a lot of people have brought up, a suspension would have been a lot more consequential of a penalty instead of the points penalty at the end of the day. Like, yeah, he's going to miss out probably on a few more playoff points than he would have got otherwise, unless he completely collapses through the year or something like that. But that suspension and then the oncoming debate of whether or not to give him a waiver based on the new rules, that would have been a lot more consequential after he gets a win and how he's been running so far. So I think if you're Austin Cindric, you also got to kind of consider yourself lucky that NASCAR only did that point penalty.
Yep. Let's touch on fuel mileage just a little bit because I feel like we're not going to say too much about this, but we're going to really say some more about the next part after this, where we talk a little bit more about the TV show, part of this NASCAR race. So let's talk about it. Is fuel mileage and super speedway racing a problem right now? Jarrett, let me get your takes on that.
Oh, might be the last time you hear the sirens going past.
Yeah.
So for a while, I was thinking, okay, it's strategy. It sucks that it's happening. God damn, they're loud tonight. Go on. Somebody else dying. I'm so done with it. I'm so done with the fuel mileage, the racing itself. I think we can tie in the racing itself too on this part. It just sort of waters down the whole race to me. It's like when they're not racing hard, it looks cool. We got plenty of eye candy. It's 4 wide, but it's just, and everyone's like, well, it's not a train. Well, at least in the train, they were going full wide. And then if they had a plan to move to the front, people could. You really don't with this. I would like to see someone go full bore and just go all out, gap the pack, and fly ahead and see if maybe they can make up time that way and see if that would be better. I get people who are like, I would rather make it look cool. I don't think it matters either way. It still sucks either way. The racing itself too is why I think they fuel save so much, because you can't pass. Like we just talked about it about 20 minutes ago, that the Hendrick cars were set up to draft past if they wanted, but they couldn't, because they could not pull out and pass because they would just drop straight to the back the way it is. It's at this point, it's just frustrating for me because you can see each problem and how they're connected to each other. And, I guess unless you're somebody on the NASCAR payroll, like it's not exactly the most compelling form of super speedway racing. It's just not compelling at all to me. I kind of knew that whoever was in those the leader of the first 2 lines was going to win. And I knew that we were going to see fuel saving for 70% of the race. Like what is really compelling about that? If I wanted to know on the last lap which person was probably going to win, I'd go watch Formula 1.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, guys. PC went through a full restart and then some. But I was able to still listen to most of what y'all were saying. And I want to both agree and disagree with what Jarrett just said. And I did miss some of what he said. So apologies if I tread over ground we've already covered. But the fuel mileage racing, I don't have a problem with. And I heard you mention like the train was one thing, but at least they're going full bore. I would prefer fuel mileage racing and a pack in the stage over the train. But, and you brought up a point, this is where I agree with you, at least under the old rules packages that sometimes resulted in the train, when it was go time, teams could line up and actually go. Whereas now, obviously, it's much more difficult to line up and mount a charge unless you're in one of the first 2 or 3 rows. So what I found interesting was I watched, and maybe one of y'all brought this up, I don't know, I watched the beginning of NASCAR's YouTube channel's live stream. This week it was Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton. And the opening minutes were a doozy, let me just say that. But I think it was Burton made the comment that like, how is this not exciting to you? The green flag pit stops that are coming up are going to decide who wins this race. And he wasn't saying that sarcastically. He said that like, this is an exciting moment of the race. You should all be on your feet. And I said, and in my head, I'm like, in what universe do I want a Talladega race decided on pit road? Team sport and all that. I mean, are important, but like, I don't want any race, honestly. I don't want the pit crew to decide it. Ultimately, they can have an impact for sure. I want it in the driver's hands, especially at Talladega, where Dale Earnhardt became a legend.
Him being a crew chief, I can get how that excites him. But
Letarte,
him, Steve Letarte as a crew chief, I get how that excites him.
For sure.
Me as a fan who is sitting in the stands, if I'm at Talladega, I am there because I want to see someone working hard in the car to have a Earnhardt 2000 moment and go from what was he like? How far back was he?
He's like 20 with the 4 to go and 3 laps.
To first, or like Earnhardt Jr. in 2010 nearly won that Daytona 500. He come flying from the back, sideways down the back stretch, nearly got to McMurray. But I want to see stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see it won in the pits.
Well, I mean, I remember, was it 5 years? God, it's probably been 5 years now.
Let me go to a track like Bristol and watch it won in the pits. So not Talladega though.
Okay, so I'd made a video like 5 years ago breaking down why I thought Denny Hamlin was so good at Superspeedway racing. And I'd pointed out, if you watch the 2020 Daytona 500, if you watch that race in 2020 at Talladega, watch Denny Hamlin in the last 2 laps of those races. Watch him get passed for the lead, watch him regroup, work with people, work the draft perfectly, and go for the win. I get that we don't remember the 2020 Daytona 500 ending other than the Ryan Newman crash, but that race was awesome. And Denny Hamlin's driving in that at the end was a masterclass in drafting and patience. And we're not going to see that with this kind of package. What we get with this kind of package, to me, is it is the least compelling form of super speedway racing I think I've watched as a fan. Because like I said, the last 2 laps, unless somebody like Ty Dillon ran out of fuel, I knew that one of the 2 at the front was going to win and nobody else could make a move. The fuel mileage part for me, I see it as no different than the train racing, except it's just eye candy because nothing's happening either way. And I think the solutions here, again, I'm not going to pretend I know how to fix the car itself, but more with the result I want to see the pack spread out. Like, it sounds counterintuitive, but the pack spread out, you can get bigger runs. Look at that run Austin Cindric got at the end of stage 2. It was because there was actually a gap and he was able to form that run up at the end. It was like the only big run of the race that we saw anyone have. Get them spread out a bit. Make handling a bit of an issue too. I think the reason that they're so heavy on saving fuel is because it does matter how much you have to pit. Make it not matter as much that you can work your way back up. I don't think you see as much fuel saving.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If it becomes less of a track position race, there's less stress about fuel. Still some because of how tires work, and you can do, this fuel will still matter to a degree, but yeah, less so.
It's funny to hear you talk about Denny Hamlin. And you know what? He is actually the perfect benchmark of super speedway racers over the last few years. And I went to went to driveraverages.com, and I just was curious about how Denny's done at super speedways in general. Now, it's not showing me Atlanta results because it doesn't consider Atlanta to be a super speedway in its factors here. So I'm just going to read off from 2018 to 2020 his results. 3rd, 14th, 38th, 4th, 1st, 36th, 26th, 3rd, 1st, 4th, 3rd, 1st, and that's all of from 2018 to 2020. So huge factor. We get into the next gen era, and Denny Hamlin becomes 37, 18, 25, 5, 17, 17, 26, 3, 19, 37, 38, 10, 24,
And I'll
21.
bet if you look at the laps led, I'll bet there's a drop off as well.
There is a significant drop off. I think that the most laps he has led in this era was October 2022 at Talladega, where he led 20 laps. Other than that, he led 7 at Talladega this past weekend, 6 in the Daytona 500, but he had 2 races in a row where he led 0, a race where he led 4, 10, 3, 12, 7. And again, during that period from 2018 to 2020, a whole lot more. If, quite frankly, one of our best modern day super speedway racers is struggling like this, that says a lot more than people may realize about this car at super speedways.
Well, and I'm wearing an Earnhardt hat. I'll say this: I don't think the Earnhardts would get even top 10 finishes on a regular basis at Daytona and Talladega anymore.
Perhaps
because they're
not.
aggressive. They would try and make a move, and they would go straight to the back. I mean, I was listening to Dale Jr. talk about it, and he said, if I was racing, I wouldn't pull out. Why? I'm running 5th. Like, do I want to finish 25th? Like, if no one can make a move, then why would you even attempt to? And the part that I brought up, I think last week when we kind of touched a little bit on it was that, to me, nowadays, because of where NASCAR has put them on the schedule, of course, you have the Daytona 500, you have, I believe, 5 of the 9 races on network TV are on super speedway races. Like, to me, when it comes to fan outreach and growing the sport, super speedway racing, NASCAR has made the most important form of racing when it comes to growing the fan base. And yeah, it looks nice, but then once you know what's going on, it is utterly boring. And
yeah, it's a Trojan horse.
It is. That's a great way to put it. And I don't get the fact that have they really changed anything with the super speedway package since 2022? Have they done anything outside of super speedway testing since that Daytona test in 2022?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, except maybe they've added an extra bar inside the car somewhere, but chat would have to let us know. So
maybe they've done one, right? So like the super speedways are okay. Atlanta, we'll just say it's its own beast because this track was designed for this car. Mm-hmm. So super speedway, Daytona, Talladega, 2 of the most famous tracks in the world in all of NASCAR. Racing is mediocre at best. Short track racing nowadays, awful. Lower end intermediates, like the 1 mile-ish and even the Darlingtons now 1 1/3, not exactly the greatest. So, road courses, really not all that good. COTA was fun, and I'm hoping maybe that means that it'll get better. But when 3 of the 4 types of racetracks are not good racing consistently, I'm sorry, NASCAR, you failed with the car at this point. It is the car. And I don't care if it's NASCAR, the teams, whoever. I don't want to hear a damn thing about saving money and cost cutting when they won't put money into improving the racing product, which is, at the end of the day, what sells.
I mean, something I said on my show today is it is wild that as an industry, we make over $1 billion annually from TV alone. That's not including ticket sales, merch, license, all that other stuff. Just from TV, 1.1 billion. And yet nobody wants to spend any real money to make any big changes to the on-track racing product. And it shouldn't all be on the teams, and it shouldn't necessarily all be on NASCAR. I think both sides need to meet in the middle somehow, some way. And right now there just is not that collaboration. I wonder if it's still some animosity spilled over from the charter negotiations last year, but nobody seems to want to play ball with the other. And unfortunately, the fans will suffer.
This has been a thing though, before even the negotiation period. Like, they took shortcuts. NASCAR did take shortcuts. They used more simulation stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because of COVID and all that. Okay, you pushed it back a year. If it's not ready, push it back another year. When people are clamoring for the Gen 6 back, no matter which Gen 6 package we have an issue because that car wasn't really that good either. Like everything, and I saw this, I think, on Reddit, so I don't know who to credit, but if you're watching this, I think you said it perfectly. Everything the next gen is everything that every fan said the COT was going to be. COT might not be the greatest car ever. I think it followed the greatest car ever, and because got overhated, might not look great, but raced well.
It was ugly.
It was ugly, but it raced really well. You go back and watch a lot of those races, especially like past 08 when they were really ironing stuff out. Like those are really good races. There's a lot of really good races in it. And especially once they had their hands and arms fully around it by 2011, 2012, like they had something and then they went away from it. The Gen 6 ain't that. It had some good races. It had the ability to race good at a lot of these tracks. Wasn't the greatest. I almost think like, can we just take an Xfinity, which is basically a COT car, an Xfinity Series car, or a 750 package Gen 6 and just race it everywhere else outside of intermediates, and we'll do the next gen on the intermediates until we figure out how to make it race good on literally every other track.
So you're saying let's 07 this thing.
Screw it. I don't care how much it costs them. Screw it. All of them. You're making $1 billion, like Eric, you're saying $1.1 billion a year. I think we can spend a little money to fix this shit.
I mean, for real though, at this point, it might make more sense for us to be in a situation where we were towards the end of the Gen 4 era, where the Cup and Busch Series had the exact same looking car, but there were mechanical differences between the two. That's probably where we need to be at this point.
It could even just be a horsepower difference because I think Xfinity, it's like 650 is what they cap out at. If we go to 750 or more in Cup, boom, there you go. That's enough of a difference.
I say give Cup 800, honestly, and call it a day.
Yeah, give them $1 million.
Add horsepower a bit, softer tires on top of that, and whatever else you have to change to make the cars more difficult to drive. I feel like if we just keep chugging away at that, we'll start actually seeing some results. But I think that what I'm worried about is the car is just fundamentally broken, and we have to go back to formula on this one.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that. This car is obviously not good long term, but I'm scared of what they will make if they try to do it again. So I'm like, at this point, let's just be what NASCAR used to be, where your top two series had the same looking car. Honestly, as a NASCAR fan, as someone who collected diecast, that was the fun of it back in the day, of being like, oh, what series is this? I got to really, look at the logo on here to know.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I remember my grandpa gave me a couple, my dad did. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna need to find these cars in the track, and I never could. And then one day my mom was like, well, there's more than one NASCAR series. Why don't you watch this? It's the Busch Series race. And I'm like, Junior's in oh, that's Martin Truex Jr. And I'm like, holy crap, it's a whole new world.
Yep. Me discovering Brad Keselowski in 09 as a junior fan, and he was in the 88.
But I'm just kind of getting back to it. This is going to be the talking point for years at this rate. I mean, if I get this is NASCAR's baby, but listen, if Brian France can admit defeat on the COT for a lot of the things, and again, I think a lot of them over embellish, but if he can admit defeat on that, that's the one thing he can NASCAR admit defeat here, and like we could get some actual results in some way. Like, can we listen? I get that they want their off season and all of that, and drivers don't like being at the track. Suck it up. You're a millionaire doing a dream job. All right. Like, there's a lot of people that watch that this is their only opportunity to take a vacation. And I think they would want to see something really, really damn good on that. I don't take this, we can't spend money on it, or I don't want to put in the time at the track, send the Xfinity driver to do testing. No, like we need to get the big boys out there, because it's a big boy industry, big boy job, and we need them to be able to wheel this thing and actually make moves. When they're admitting defeat running third, right behind the leader, we have a problem.
Yep. You hear that, Elton Sawyer? 67 lead changes my ass.
I love that. They're just literally back and forth every couple laps, and green flag pit stops and fuel saving. And it's like, but the lead changes. So there you go.
It's
If we
The
want to talk
gaslighting is
about,
off is unchecked.
It's been terrible this week.
if we want to talk about exciting lead changes, rewatch the '09 Aaron's 499. Now that was full of actual lead changes.
Go and
I
watch
should-
the Xfinity race on Saturday.
I'm laughing at the chat. You're right. I should have said cheeks. I missed an opportunity there.
Mm.
Well, it's just cheeks is a great way to sum it up. But I can't believe how many people in NASCAR this week have just like went all in on gaslighting.
Well, it's again, I think you said it earlier, 5 of the 9 network races this year are super speedways. Talladega is their baby. Like, this is one of their sacred cows that, like,
And I
they
love
expect
Talladega.
to do well.
It's a great track to see
I'll
a
say
race.
this. That was one of the best crowds at Talladega I've seen in a few years. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but on TV, that looked borderline packed. It wasn't sellout, obviously, but it's probably 80% full, which for Talladega, that huge track, pretty damn good. Like, this is their sacred thing that, gets big ratings, gets big viewership. They can't admit that this is also bad, because this is what 4 or 5 million people watch. 2 million people watch Bristol, 5 million watch Talladega. So it's like, we're not going to accept that Talladega is bad. It was 4 wide. What more do you want?
This might sound like sacrilege to a lot of fans, and I think it speaks more to where super speedway racing has gone when I say this. Let me know if it's a hot take. I'm more excited for Texas now than Talladega races.
Oh, I am too.
Texas honestly is not that bad anymore, or it's just everything else has gotten worse and
Texas
it rose up the rankings.
At least Texas is interesting. I mean, last year you had Denny Hamlin crashing while racing Chase Elliott for the win. Like, at least Texas, you feel like the guys are going for it, and you see them make mistakes. Talladega, you don't see any of that anymore. You don't see that.
And the thing is, when we get to Atlanta, I feel like that's going to be a solid race at night. And this car has been racing good at Atlanta. We go to Daytona. I feel like we're going to see a better race. For the most part, I feel like the last few years Daytona has raced a little bit better than Talladega. It's the last race before the playoffs, a lot more on the line. We're going to see these guys try everything they can to get more out of the car than what we saw this weekend. This Talladega race, just unfortunately, is also plain and simple. It's just middle of the season, and no one wants to tear the car up too. That's another thing. So it's just a weird super speedway race.
I honestly, the problem is I looked back at last year's race and I really didn't see any, like last year's fall race. I didn't see a difference. The race before that, like, fans are seeing a difference. We'll get into the poll in a little bit, and it's a clear difference. But it's to me, it all washes together. To me, it's all the same damn race.
Yeah.
It's
people in the chat. Speaking of cheeks, people in the chat are mentioning the Fox they're mentioning the commercial breaks, especially.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Artie sent us off in a big way, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Rest in ESPN, buddy.
And before this final game-winning touchdown, we're going to go to commercial break, guys, real quick. We're going side by side. Let you watch this last play. 4th and 1 at the 5.
4th and 1, but don't worry. 4th and 1, but don't worry. You won't miss a thing.
Misses the play in the transition to commercials.
Yeah.
Like they've missed Rex before.
Yep,
oh,
literally.
Man. That was a Fox masterclass. And I know that's another thing too. Like, that's on top of the racing side of it. Not as many, but it's the same. It's a lot of the same people that are just like, NASCAR's always had commercials. I'm totally not talking about a former NASCAR driver in any way possible. But like, that's like, I don't know why you're upset. I don't know, because I had 2 commercial breaks in the last 15 laps of Talladega.
Yeah, they came back from side-by-side commercial with 5 to go. I know Talladega is a big track, but that's like 3.5 minutes of racing. 3.5 minutes is not enough time to build up the stakes, explain what's happening, set the stage. That's not enough time to do all of that and effectively call the finish and get the audience emotionally invested. That was malpractice from Fox to do that.
I don't know if the guys doing it just didn't realize that they were still on commercial or what, but at one point in a little side-by-side walk, I saw someone circled something in yellow. I'm like, what are you circling? We're on commercial. I don't know what you're saying right now.
They had a weird moment where they tossed it to Larry McReynolds to talk fuel strategy. And then while he was talking, they started playing a canned montage of the big one. And then they went to commercial. Like while Larry McReynolds was talking fuel strategy, I was like, what is going on?
And you know what? Like, if it's supposed to be so important, why are we cutting away from it? It's just over and over. It gets the same damn thing, and it just gets worse. I don't even blame the booth anymore, because how do you get into a rhythm like that? You're going to commercial every 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe Fox actually just used big brain, because they actually know that with this car, nothing is actually going to happen. We will not miss anything by doing this.
And the thing is, I honestly don't think it gets better with already gone. I think it's a Fox thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from the
Yeah,
top.
I don't see it changing.
My thing, I want to give Fox credit for doing side-by-side commercials at Talladega, like green flag side-by-side commercials at Daytona and Talladega. Like that's very commendable, but then they have to go and you give them an inch, they take a mile, and they pull this, 5 to go commercial break thing. And it's like, I wanted to give you credit.
I have a theory. So crazy enough, the last 4 Talladega races, we've had 4 cautions in each of them. Like
I saw that stat somewhere. Yeah,
it's crazy. I think that Fox had signed in a commercial break at the end of the race, banking on a big one.
Yep.
And we didn't get that big one. And they're like, shit. All right, well, let's just bang, bang, get them done.
Yeah.
I get
probably
it.
A good theory.
Oh, it is. It was absolutely contractual. They were contractually obligated to show commercials with 6 laps to go. 100%. It's just, I'll bet there's nothing in the contract that says it has to be shown with 6 laps to go. They could have had a bit more foresight, but they were holding off, like you said, for that big wreck, hoping to fit a few more breaks in there. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying is I don't want to fully rip them to shreds, because I think their heart was in the right place at the start. Just execution at the end was bad. And even we started this with Artie Kempner. Is it Artie's job to determine when the commercials play? I'm not exactly sure, frankly. I mean, he didn't sign those contracts. Some Fox executive signed those contracts. He's just there to try and execute them day of, best to his ability. I think he's maybe past his prime or hasn't fully evolved. But I don't know that I can put all of Sunday's issues on Artie Kempner. But like you said, like you guys said, yeah, it's a Fox issue, more broadly speaking. It's just, of all of NASCAR's recent media partners, they seem the most stuck in 2005, when we didn't have, YouTube and Twitter and the entire cyberspace 6 inches from our face at all times. There are so many distractions now that you can't broadcast a 3.5-hour sporting event like you did in 2005. You have to evolve. The audience has evolved. You need to evolve as well.
It's just really unfortunate. It's borderline it's just annoying that when you're getting that invested, you're so interested in what's happening on the screen, you're so interested in what's being said, that someone just clicks insert ad like that. I mean who would do such a thing like that?
Did you just do it, Danny?
Who would possibly do such a thing like that, Fox? I mean, what are you guys thinking right now?
Well, and
apologies to any of our live viewers who may have just gotten an ad.
Yeah, I want to add in.
There's no ads. What are you talking about?
I would like to add in. It doesn't help when we're getting our ass kicked by every other series in coverage. F1 coverage, light years better. IndyCar coverage on the same damn network, light years better. NASCAR doing their own coverage for the CW for the Xfinity series, way damn better. Like that's to me the part of this that just. It just irks me. Like it would be different if we're asking for something that's never been done before. I get, we would want to be, pushing forward thinking and all of that. And I still think we should. But every single series kicks our ass. I mean, we just said it earlier. We're stuck in 2005. There's plenty of things from NASCAR in 2005 that they could adopt now that'd be very good. Coverage the way it was back then is not one of them. And I'm just so done. I'm just so done with it. I'm glad that we are 2-3 weeks away. We are 2 points races in the All-Star race away from something new. Like, because that's what Prime and TNT will represent, is we were getting something new.
Hopefully something good. Fingers crossed.
Please. Oh God. All right. Well, what else we got to talk about? There's something we got good to talk about, right?
Let's talk ratings real quick, since we're on the TV front.
Never mind.
real quick before that's no better to talk about. Before we do that, just in case anyone was kind of confused what happened, YouTube does have a button in here that says insert ad. I was just playing along with it. Oddly enough, my wife Claudia just said it was a Cane's chicken ad for her.
Ew.
Chicken Weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Chicken jockey.
Hmm.
I
Don't pretend you know what that means, Jarrett. Remember, we're
I-
60 years old in internet years.
I do not get the reference. I'm
Back in my day, we had a dislike button.
Eric.
I still
Eric,
do.
Eric, do you still have that old man beard from season 1?
I don't think so. I don't know where that is. I wish I did because it looked so real.
And the chat goes off. Yeah, what the ratings look like? Did that get better?
We scored a 2.2 rating this weekend with 4.041 million viewers. Viewership is down 6% from the 2024 race. Rating is down 10%. We're down 14% in viewership over the last 4 years of Talladega races. We peaked at 4.8 million viewers at the finish, and it was
the last commercial break.
And this is the last big network channel race to be broadcasted in the Cup Series until Daytona on August 23rd, and it won't even matter for me because I think I'm going to try to go to that race.
So you won't get one until the next Talladega race in October.
Woo! Hey, but streaming just a few weeks away.
Yeah, get your Amazon Prime, get your free shipping with them, and then enjoy the race.
We need like an affiliate link on this show, if that's a thing Amazon does.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah,
What about the Xfinity race? I even added an ARCA thing. How'd those races do?
Xfinity Series had 1.260 million viewers over the weekend, up 20% from last week's race. It is down 21% in viewership, and it is down 22% in ratings from the year before, which was on Big Fox. It's the first time in 8 years that the first 11 races of the Xfinity Series have actually topped 1 million viewers, and it peaked at 1.623 million viewers at the finish of that race. ARCA was also down 23% year over year. Sorry for that.
Well, that's shocking. Was because obviously I've heard all week of the Cletus effect, and we saw the YouTube numbers he's done. But you're telling me ratings was last year's race on like Big Fox or something?
I don't think so.
That's surprising then.
I mean, NASCAR did have like a lot of people. I don't know what the big number was, but I would have to think that it was closing in at one point. I saw on like 80,000 watching on their YouTube channel on his view only. So they had almost a third of the viewership of the total ARCA race on NASCAR's channel for Cletus alone.
Damn. Well, and at least he got to finish the whole race this time and was, more or less in contention, which was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the poll is positive this week, right?
Hey, maybe it is. Maybe.
Well, what do we got?
Well, 11,000 people voted on this poll, which is maybe middle of the road in terms of how many people participate. 8% people said this was a great race. 44% people said it was good. So we are slightly in the green in terms of net positivity, with 52% net positivity. 33% of people said this was average, and 15% of people said negative. So for the most part, everyone still says this was just an average or solid Talladega race. Not as many. The poll doesn't reflect it being as negative as some people may verbally say.
For those asking for more options, YouTube doesn't give it to me. We used to have 5.
Yeah, I voted average. It was disappointing for a Talladega race, but overall, I would say it was average.
Yeah, it wasn't, because I was there. It wasn't. It's never going to touch the 2018 fall Talladega race, in my opinion. That one was just way worse.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting part is of the 13 polled races at Talladega, it was 12th of 13 all time. And it was the 4th straight race so far this year that was under 60%.
Yeah, we've been on a rough stretch.
Yeah,
those
Texas gonna pull us out of the gutter.
Well, those being, by the way, those under 60% were Bristol, Darlington, Martinsville, Talladega.
You either stay the villain or you stick around long enough to become the hero. That's what Texas Motor Speedway is about to become.
Oh man.
It's gonna put on the race of the year. We don't even know it.
As for the comments here, first one's from Isaac. I'm not going to read the whole thing because part of it I can read next week with our guests coming on. But he says, I know we're giving next gen super speedway racing crap lately, but to be honest, I actually thought it was a very entertaining race. Still needs work, like the constant gridlock, but it beats single file train racing back in the day. And I just think I disagree on the sense that it was good, but I'll let people say their own thing. Let's look at the comments. Log Pug, not Pick, Law Pug says, it's truly incredible how far Artie Kempner was able to make it and rise to become a director at Fox, all while being blind.
It's inspiring, right?
I can't wait for that movie to come out. Another docu pick. That's all we need. Napa Racing fan. Are they going to zoom in at Artie's face the whole time? Like, or are they just going to zoom in on the kids in the background? Napa Racing fan says, today's Fox moments, cutting Larry Mack off, discussing strategy while showing the big one highlights in a reel and going to commercial. Also side by side with 9 to go until 5 to go. Let's see. Mango says the commercials would tend to go in the race is psycho work. Kitsune says it was a good race. You're all wrong, and you can meet me in the Waffle House parking lot if you disagree.
Oh man,
seeing how they closed down that one Applebee's that Mike Harmon went to, or something like that. I can't remember.
Applebee's across from Daytona, right? It's closing or closed.
Mm-hmm.
Across from where?
Uda Loop Shooter says, I started paying attention after the 10th Liberty Bibberty commercial and noticed at 3:34 p.m. Eastern, we're in timestamps here, 3:34 p.m. Eastern time, we went to commercial break. I shit you not, at 3:42, we went back to commercial, only to go back to commercial at 3:48. We average a commercial break every 6 to 8 minutes.
Oof. Welcome to Big Fox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Orange's Nail Gaming says, I initially voted good, but went down to average for Priest getting DQ'd. I'm tired of having DQs or penalties after the races every few weeks.
Yeah, I think we all are.
And then I think Dean Hardy says, pains me to say, but I found this race was very dull. I'll give it a 5 just because it's Dega. They didn't even try to make a move at the end. I will counter and say, I don't think they could make a move at the end. I think that was the problem. And as for the gutter, Geb 1000 says kind of mid, honestly. Randomly, SHDJ says awful. And Lucas says 4 wide gas saving with a side of double file train racing. Please give me more commercials so I don't have to watch this shit. The Gen 7 is hot garbage. Worst car NASCAR has made to date. I have to admit, and I very much question how this happened. Why is the poll voting block so overly positive about bad or mediocre races? I look at it back in the day, it was like it would be within 2 or 3% of Jeff Gluck's poll usually. And now it's like 15 or 20% off, and people are way more positive. I'm like, are we getting review bombed or something?
Would it be the opposite of review bombed?
I guess, yeah. Maybe it's like a review invasion, if you will. I don't know. Like, is it like maybe it's all the bots that Mike Ford was talking about. I don't know. But that was the poll. All right. The Xfinity race. Is there something positive here?
Well, kind of. We have a new all-time record holder for the most super speedway wins in the Xfinity series. Austin Hill now has 9, I think?
10, I think.
I forget what the number was. A lot.
Yeah, a ton. So what do we think, guys? Big Bully is the as the chat's calling him, the greatest super speedway racer in Xfinity history, better than Earnhardt?
It's 9, by the way, according to NASCAR's website.
I want to see Denny Hamlin this week said that he wants to run an Xfinity plate race. I want to see Hamlin in a Gibbs car toe to toe with Austin Hill in an RCR car, because Hill obviously has the car advantage, but I want to see when he goes up against someone who really knows how to work that air bubble. Does he get exposed? This is like getting to see Jordan and MJ one-on-one, or Jordan and LeBron one-on-one.
Jordan and Michael Jackson. Damn.
Yeah. That's what I want to see right now. I want to see the two best super speedway racers, active super speedway racers, I should say, go toe to toe in similar equipment. Because Austin Hill's been very good, but we got guys. The RCR cars are rocket ships, man, and that was maybe the case to a degree during much of Dale's day too. Got to say that, but that's why I want to see a vet like Hamlin, a 3-time Daytona champ, maybe still in his prime. I want to see him go up against Austin Hill and see if he can beat him one-on-one more or less.
And at this point, I don't know how many more super speedway wins that Austin Hill gets. I mean, this year, let's say he's going to get at least. Did they go to Talladega again? I'm blanking. Okay, so he's going to get at least 3 more tries, Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega, to add into that this year. And he's only 31 years old. There's no clear understanding if he's going to, at this point, stay an Xfinity lifer, if he's eventually going to end up in Cup somehow. Not really sure what the future looks like for Austin Hill, but he has the record and could very well extend that even more this year.
I think it will. I think he's got at least one more. I mean,
he'll win another this year. I wouldn't be around.
He was insane at Daytona earlier this year. I mean, even with like a bunch of fluid all over one of his tires, he was still leading the pack for 15 laps before finally the car just gave out.
Yeah, if he doesn't blow up or whatever at Daytona, he probably wins that race. I mean, his teammate ultimately wound up winning. So it's
he was way better than Love in that race.
Yeah, if it's not one of them, it's the other. I mean, those cars are so good. So, I mean, credit to Austin Hill, though. He's making the most of it for sure. I felt bad for Jeb Burton. I know how badly he wants to win another race and make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys right on the bubble. A win would have gone a long way. I thought his interview he gave on pit road was very emotional, understandable. But the replay, the one image they were showing him of when the caution came out was a really bad angle that was somewhat sympathetic to us. Like there was another view they showed either before or after that made it pretty clear that Hill was out front. So I feel bad for Jeb, but wanting to protest the finish, it's just tough pill to swallow. I get it, but there was nothing to protest there, unfortunately for him. No, but the last lap was. I think we got to mention the Zilich crash, especially after the news today. That was a huge impact. I mean, bro code gone wrong, I guess, between Love and Zilich. And unfortunately, Connor got the rough end of it. I went back and watched the replay again before the show, and it's kind of one of those classic cases of Love, tries to shoot middle, and kind of as he does that, Zilich is also trying to come down to keep him on his bumper. It's a bang-bang move. Gets spun, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Just two young guys, especially Zilich, learning how to race up front at a plate race. I thought he did a great job before that incident, but
in the moment when the race was happening, they were at like a aerial angle or something like that at the crash. It didn't look that big. It's just in the moment, but hey, neither did Earnhardt's crash in 01 either. It didn't look that big in the moment. You just never know how hard these impacts are in these cars.
Well, and I honestly think, Zilich got himself turned more than Love did anything wrong, in my opinion. But I think, before anyone knew any of that stuff, like the big debate was, did NASCAR make the right call throwing the caution at the end?
Yeah.
And everyone getting up, and that's probably a big reason why for the Cup race, so many people are like, we got a green flag finish. Hell yeah, baby. I said, I think it was the right call, not because I wanted the race to be ended in a bad way, but because literally over the radio, like right as it's happened, he is already talking about his back hurting and he was slow to get out of the car. And I don't think so. I thought this was well known. I don't think it is. It is procedure protocol that the emergency trucks cannot go on a hot racetrack that's under green.
So yes, I would have thought that too. And then NASCAR at Daytona and Atlanta said, no, we send vehicles out under green flag conditions. Like they basically said, no, that's not a protocol.
But the thing is, like, it's always been, and now it's not. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah. So that's how I felt about it. In the moment, I thought bad call. should have let it race to the line. He was way out of the racing groove. And I remembered what they said at Daytona Atlanta. I'm telling you, NASCAR came out, I think it was after the Atlanta race, and said, hey, when the crash happens after turn 2, there's a cut out there. That bell hit the next day. That allows us to get safety vehicles going towards the wreck before we throw the caution. That's what they said after Daytona Atlanta.
Then what's the point of throwing the caution at that point if they're going to do the same damn thing?
Exactly. So with all due respect to Zilich, and I know he got hurt, so it looks really bad for me to say that shouldn't have been a caution. But based on Daytona and Atlanta, it shouldn't have been a caution. It was a bad call based on the precedent they set earlier this year. But I also understand if we want to say, nope, new precedent, big crash, it is the leader after all, we throw the caution no matter what. I understand that idea as well, but I'm just saying, if Zilich's wreck happened at Daytona or Atlanta, NASCAR would not have thrown the caution. They pivoted after the Atlanta blowback, and that's why we got an inconsistent call.
God, we live in a social media. We're covering a social media sport. That's what we're covering at this point. Because I was under the impression, and that they've literally talked about it back in the 2000s, that they didn't allow them on the track. So I don't know when the hell that changed.
Yeah, no, I think we talked about on this show after they said that. I remember saying, I think on the show, wait, NASCAR just admitted they send safety vehicles onto a hot track? Because that's ridiculous. They can't be doing that.
Yeah, because I remember watching old races, and they made a point. We can't send them out until then, or we have to wait until a certain point. And if it's under yellow, we can send them out immediately. Because Bill Weber talked about it, and in like races in the COT era, and Alan Bestwick has talked. What the hell is what are the rules? Well, and if we're just changing how we do stuff with the precedent set every whim that we go on because of social media, then at what point does Twitter and the Jeff Gluck poll just run this sport? Like,
sometimes that's how it feels.
I'm sorry, it feels like NASCAR leadership and those up in the tower. It feels like we're just watching a bunch of spineless people just go by the whims. Like, either stick with something or don't. Because I was under that impression, and now I sound like an idiot because I use common sense.
Yeah, your opinion or your perception was the correct perception until apparently Daytona Atlanta 2025, when NASCAR came out and said, hey, depending on where the cutouts are, we can send vehicles on track. So
this is why NASCAR needs to publish the rule book. Like,
or just
in some way.
No, you're right. They need to make
this is the same organization only a couple of years ago let a truck just sit on the track for a few laps that couldn't move. So
it's
just
good stuff.
I swear, man. I feel like a lot of people who are very positive or new at the sport, like, come on to see this show or Dale Jr. Download or Tear Down or any other show that's not state-run media for NASCAR. And they're like, wow, all these people do in the last 6 months is bitch and moan, but everything is broken. The car's broken. The people that are scoring it are broken. The business model's broken. The teams won't spend, so their wallets are broke. Like, what the frick are we doing?
Yeah, it's a lot of broke. Lot broke.
I cannot think of a time as a fan. And granted, I've only been a fan for 20 years. It's only been close to a third of the sport's existence, maybe a quarter, maybe a little over a quarter. But I can never think of a time as a fan that so many things at the same time are so either inconclusive or broken all at once. And like, we're just constantly every other week getting a new thing or learning new things.
Everything. Yeah.
Like, how can you take it seriously when the rules change at random? Like, it's hard to.
Yeah. I agree.
God, man,
tough stuff. But hope Connor's okay. Did we want to mention real quick? I know we had the statement prepared, but do we want to just mention that Connor? So they announced today that Connor Zilich will not be. There's the statement. Look at Jarrett, well prepared. Kyle Larson is filling in for Connor Zilich in the Xfinity race this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. Zilich has a lower back injury as a result of that Talladega crash. So I think I can speak for everyone here when we say we hope Connor is back to 100% ASAP. Obviously, back injuries, they can take time to recover from. We don't know the severity of Zilich's condition. He did climb from the car on his own. He was standing doing post-race interviews, but obviously not fit to be in the car this week. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he gets back soon.
So did Eric Jones too.
Good point. Good point. And he missed 2 weeks, I think it was. So yeah.
Connor's car is in very good hands. It's in as good of hands as they could possibly put it into. They could have, gotten anyone to do that. They could have asked someone more like a Bowman or somebody like that to step up into it. But no, they got they got Larson to step into that car and drive it. So you gotta expect he will probably be contending for the victory this weekend. Every race that Larson has gotten in the Xfinity Series, he's either won it or he's been in serious contention for it this year.
And somewhat good news for his recovery too. After this week, it's 3 weeks basically till the next Xfinity race. The next one after is Charlotte. So there is a gap for him to recover too in that time.
Great point. Yeah.
So
that's exactly what he needs.
Yeah, that's good.
Guys, it's getting top of the hour here. I think we probably need to go ahead and get into the first super chat stage break of the evening there. I almost set it up for something else, but I should.
I know. I was like, are we doing this in different order? I got it ready.
No. Let's start off. Jarrett, you can time me. Spencer Purcell, appreciate being a member of Danny B Super Fan for 46 months. Cletus P10 on 7 cylinders in ARCA. How about now?
That sounds very ARCA when you say it like that.
yeah, you're right. Palm Tree 82, appreciate $10 from you. Can't join tonight, but hopefully becoming an uncle is a good enough reason to miss. Enjoy tonight, everyone. I'll be watching tomorrow at work. So thanks for getting us through to midweek, guys. Hey, congrats on becoming an uncle, and we'll see you next time. Justin Drake, appreciate the $9.99 from you. Good to see you again, Justin. Somebody called a Wahambulance Joey Afric Logano crying again, all because his teammate wasn't stupid enough to allow Joey to Logano block again and kill the field.
Damn. Chipper Jones, is that your alt?
Wow. That's funny.
Justin going all in on Logano here. Logan and King, appreciate the $4.99 from you. With Larson running the Xfinity race this weekend, does that take away from his 5 allotted races?
I would think so.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, I think so. Did he have 3 more that was on schedule? I'm not certain.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else he had. He's done 2 so far, right? Homestead and Bristol. I don't think he's done any others.
And he's done 2 truck races because he can have. Yeah. What is it? You can have 5 in each series, right?
Yeah, but I think you have to do them before the playoffs as well. I don't think he had a full Xfinity schedule lined up.
Yeah. Fred Dog 81, appreciate $2. And I'm not going to understand this reference, but he says we need a Bob Pockrass as a Square Fella t-shirt. Do either of you guys know what
is a Square Fella?
Yeah.
A Minecraft reference?
I guess. I don't. Now I'm just imagining Bob Pockrass as a Minecraft character.
Fill in the gaps for us, Chad, if anyone knows what the hell we're talking about.
Steven Gibson, appreciate the $5. This car is broken and we need to change it, but NASCAR doesn't give an F. I feel like if Ben Kennedy was fully in charge, we'd have that changed. I'm going to disagree.
I don't think it's something that one person can decide. I think at this point, NASCAR is like run by committee, that it's like you can't. This isn't the days of Big Bill who can just sort of make a phone call. I feel like it's like even Steve Phelps, Commissioner Phelps, like needs the support of others to make things happen.
Andrew Winslow, good to see you. Appreciate the $5. NASCAR are deserving of the lol cal of the week due to them not seeing the flaws of the next gen car. As punishment, they have to watch 550 races. What does that mean? 550 horsepower races.
Just watch that Kansas 2020 finish on repeat.
Never again. Never again. It's time, by the way. It's 3.
All right, we're going to end with one more, just because it's Andrew Winslow. He became a member of Danny B Super Fan for a month, and he just said forever.
Like from the Sandlot. Forever.
Appreciate everyone for your support. We are funded by viewers like you. Thank you.
No one in the chat says watching the Kansas race isn't punishment for them. They'd probably like it.
It's like that South Park where they're sitting there just like, yes, it's the 550 package.
We like what we're seeing.
Real quick here. Peter Estrada might have gave me some context on the Bob Pockrass thing. He said that Bob asked Cindric why he was still wearing the wreath. Cindric basically said, why not? Jenna then said, Bob's a square fella.
Square fella. I missed that.
Interesting.
That's kind of funny.
Oh,
That's
man.
that's interesting. Guys, it's summertime, which means that we can have some very beautiful days. Then all of a sudden, the humidity picks up, the clouds start forming, and then a thunderstorm strikes, and it's the lightning round all of a sudden.
Just snuck up on me, man. Actually, a bit of a not slower one, but smaller lightning round tonight.
Flash flood.
Yeah. Just a couple things here. The PGA Tour has shown interest in Steve Phelps becoming their new commissioner or CEO, according to Adam Stern. So, if there's
I found out recently that I live like a few minutes down the road from the PGA headquarters. They're here in North Texas.
Damn.
They have a nice golf course, like actually up here by Prosper. I live near Prosper, where Busher's from.
You should walk over and just commentate near their building the way that Jim Nantz does, just going, and we're here today, and we're going to walk past the PGA's headquarters building. And
all I'm saying is if I'm out at dinner and I see Steve Phelps in my neighborhood, we'll know something's up. I'll be the first to report.
You're just gonna see Eric going live right now. Steve, what are you doing here?
It's not what it looks like. He's holding up a golf club.
I'm here to build Texas Mega Speedway. Get away from me.
Oh, in that case, by all means.
By the way, we also have the NWP channel, which we have episode replays of. So if you miss it, we'll be there. Plus, we have other stuff down the pipeline. North Carolina judge has denied Legacy Motor Club's motion for a preliminary injunction to keep Rick Ware Racing from making any moves with the charter that's part of their legal dispute per Bob Pockrass and others.
That'd be crazy if Rick Ware's like, yeah, we weren't going to sell it to you for 2026, but we'll sell it to Colleague or someone else.
We don't want you to have it.
Yeah, just out of spite. They're like, come to think of it, we are okay with parting with this charter, but we're going to give it to somebody else.
I did not, when we first started hearing the word preliminary injunction, I could not say it. I always would get tongue-tied. I've said it so damn much and too damn much, it's just like second nature to me. So
you're going to name your child preliminary injunction.
It's going to be blank preliminary injunction Lundberg.
Just rolls off the tongue. It's a beautiful word.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's like middle initials, PI. And then
private investigator.
Yes. Next week we'll be on Eric's channel with a special guest, Auto Racing Analytics, who Grant's always fun to be on. I saw some people thought we were having him on this week. I think I had said something like 3 weeks ago on accident, and it just stuck.
Yeah, I was getting confused. I was like, so someone said, can't wait for him to be on. I was like, is he on? I didn't see any guests for this week.
Well, I'm genuinely glad people are paying attention to our schedule graphics that we put out. So,
yeah, I know.
They are indeed marking their calendars, which is good.
Thanks for holding us accountable, even though we don't hold ourselves accountable.
Actually, we were about to, but that was the lightning round. I don't think we're getting any, or Danny, we're not getting any storms tonight, are we?
It's honestly untelling at this point. You never know in the summertime. The forecast says no, but one could just. We weren't supposed to have rain yesterday, but it started raining on us yesterday.
Before I moved to the South, I didn't get why you called late April summertime all the way through September and into October. And then I moved down here, and it's there's times it's been 80 degrees down here at the start of April. And then I look back where I moved from in Illinois, and it's 25 degrees and they're getting 6 inches of snow. And I'm just like, thank God I'm down here.
Yeah, it is currently 77 degrees. And the next few days we have highs pushing 80. And then randomly Saturday and Sunday and Monday, we have highs in the low 60s. So
nice. It just feels great out. Maybe low 60s. We need it to be in the nice 60s.
Yeah. Look.
It's getting nice.
Saturday will be pushing the nice number. It'll be high of 68 that day.
I like it. Picasso. Danny, I don't think we have really any big headlines this week. Are we just here to have fun?
Yeah, this is just a fun show. I will say this. We didn't have this wrote down, but I just want to say something here real quick that I saw actually from Adam Stern. Throwing this on you guys real quick. But he put out on April 29th that Chili's parent company, Brinker International, reported that their Q3 earnings showed that Chili's same-store sales were up about 32% for the most recent quarter versus their sister brand Maggiano's Little Italy only being up 0.4%. And so I actually bookmarked this tweet from Luke Breadstick on Twitter,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
said when you have consumable sponsors and not just crypto and logistics, people will consume them. There's a reason I drink Pepsi and a Hoist. There's a reason I ask for Castrol. There's a reason I prefer going to Kroger. There's a reason I bought Farm Rich mozzarella sticks yesterday. That is very true. If there is something that is for the common person to go out and consume, and they know that you will support one of their favorite NASCAR teams, NASCAR fans are the most loyal to brands who are actually attainable and support
Yeah.
NASCAR.
That's why I stopped
I
drinking
will
Shell.
I will go to
I knew I'd get you on that one.
I will go to Bass Pro Shops more often than Academy, and Academy is much closer for my fishing stuff because they are so involved in NASCAR. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's great. The more consumer brands, the better. You lose an M&Ms and replace them, like they're saying, with crypto.com or whoever, or like that's not going to do it. I saw someone tweeted earlier, like I Googled it and I still don't know what Psy Apps is on Ryan Sieg's car. Yeah, I don't know either. I looked it up a long time ago. No, the more consumer recognizable brands, the better for sure. I think Justin Haley, or Hocevar, has the Chili's car again this weekend at Texas. So
it's Hocevar.
That's good. That's great.
Rad the Dante.
And he's in the truck series of Ride a Dente as well this
Yeah,
weekend.
that's right. He's doubling up. Good.
Do you know that that's actually like a fully 2.5 minute recorded song?
Yeah, I saw it. I think I saw the YouTube video or the music video on YouTube.
I'm pretty certain. As someone who has experimented with AI just a little bit, I'm pretty certain AI wrote that, but it is what it is.
Honestly, you might be onto something.
Probably. I guess it's better than the AI Coke commercial.
There's a small chance that they got an AI, like they might have had AI make the song and then they use actors to fill in the music video, but I'm pretty certain AI did write the song.
I
can't get over the dude in the commercial because every time he opens his mouth, you just see these teeth every time, like 2 buck teeth hanging down, and all I'm thinking of is just like, Sandy. What's Sandy's last name? Yes, Sandy's last name is Cheeks.
Cheeks.
This is fun. We're having fun.
We should probably get back to our fun segments.
I'm actually, I can't believe how fast we get to have fun. This is fun, guys. We're having fun now.
All right, Danny, what we got on tap today?
It's time for the accountability session. That comes up first, actually.
So for the prediction segment, each of us are going to make 2 NASCAR, motorsports, or show-related predictions. We kind of went with the last one last week a little bit. We'll keep track in our accountability session, and we'll try and keep them somewhat concise. We fail a lot. It was a bad week to be me. Every year I try and predict the draft, and usually I'm like always 2 for 3. I was 1 for 3 this year. I said the Titans would draft Cam Ward, the Texans would draft Tyler Booker, and the Vikings would draft Gray Zabel. I was wrong on the Texas team, and I got my second option at guard for the Vikings. And I also said Ford would sweep the pole at Talladega. Eric said an RCR car would lead the most laps in the Xfinity race, and a Penske car would lead the most laps in the Cup race. Does anyone remember who led the most laps in the Cup race?
Ty fucking Gibbs.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. He also said a 7th different race team would win the 7th Gen 7 race at Talladega.
Ryan Preece almost did it. So close.
If you had said, well, no, I was gonna say if you said different drivers, that would be correct for Talladega, not in general.
Yeah. Danny with the only correct one of the night, saying at least one of the 3 NWP NFL teams would trade out of their original first round positions. I believe the Texans did because I found out from some of my few people I know in the loop on the Viking side of things. Apparently the Texans really, really wanted, I think it's Donovan Jackson was the guard that the Vikings had drafted.
They wanted him or that Matthew Golden receiver, and both went right before it was us. And so we just said, let's trade out.
Yep.
let's bow out.
Which gave us the pick where we all realized Shador Sanders was not getting drafted anytime soon.
It serves him right. Did you hear that his rookie contract will cost less than the draft room he made?
That
It's
is
unfortunate.
wild.
Serves him right. He'll be out of the league in 3 years. Danny
hot
also
take.
said
Wait,
RCR.
can we put that on the account?
Is that a prediction?
Yeah, is that a prediction?
Well, we'll keep that one among ourselves. How about that?
Okay.
Danny also said RCR would lead 70% or more of the Xfinity race. I believe they were led around 62%.
I'll give him the point.
No, that's not right.
You're right. It was close. That's pretty
Plus,
close.
speaking of what's getting closer,
I felt good about that one, but yeah, it wasn't quite.
speaking about what's getting closer is the standings. I'm still leading at 34.78%, and Eric's at 29.03. Danny at 28 flat. So we're within about 6.78% of each other from first to third. Getting closer.
You guys remember when I was single digits?
No more layups for Danny.
He's on a hot streak. He's on a heater.
He is. He's Danny, I think, is like consistently getting at least 1 to 2 green every week. And that's the thing. We only usually have 1 or 2 predictions come off every week. So 1 to 2 green is always in the positive for you.
Mm-hmm.
And all time, I'm still up top 40.87%, Eric at 31.16, and Danny at a 30.73. So Danny is catching up to Eric on both ones of them. So I guess I'll lead off. And I did this last year with with the laps led parlay or whatever prediction. You remember last year I said that Natalie Decker would lead more Xfinity laps than Haley Deegan. Well, I'm going to run it back. Catherine Legg will lead more Xfinity laps this season than Chris Wright.
Catherine Legg actually ran pretty well at that Talladega. She was doing just fine, hanging in the lead draft, and got wrecked.
Has Chris Wright led any laps this season that we know of?
Has she led any laps yet?
She led a lap at Talladega.
She led a lap. Wow. Okay.
I don't think that Chris Wright's leading a lap this. Now watch, he leads 2 at Texas. I'm like, damn it.
Oh, I like that. That might be the final score. 1-0 when it's said and done.
It's like a soccer game.
Okay. I'll save my fun prediction for a second. My first prediction, he's climbed from like 29th to 20th the past few weeks. I think by the end of the Coca-Cola 600, Carson Hocevar will be top 15 in the regular season points.
Oh, wow.
I think he's 20 points behind 15th right now, and we got some big fast tracks coming up that I think he'll be good at.
He could low-key be good in the Coke 600, honestly.
He was top 10 at Texas last year.
A driver will tweet about visiting Buc-ee's this weekend.
That was literally one of mine, Danny. What the what?
Wow.
All right.
I like it.
Hold on.
You were going to say one of your fun ones at the end. I was like, I bet it's this, isn't it?
Yeah, how could you? I wanted the Buc-ee's.
And I got to give a shout out to Claudia for suggesting that one to me. So good on Claudia.
That's good. That's really good. Texas will have a higher positive percentage in my poll than Talladega.
I thought about making that prediction as well. I was going to even maybe say that Texas will be the most positively voted race in like 6 weeks or something.
Because the thing that doesn't make that a layup, and I want to explain that because I know people are going to say that to me, is that when NASCAR fans get that snowball of negativity, even if it's mediocre, they get more negative as it goes. And I've seen this before. I have the data to prove why this is actually going out on a limb prediction.
Fair enough. Okay, I've modified my second prediction to now say that a driver will take a selfie with Bucky the Beaver at some point this weekend.
I mean, that could count for both of us.
That will count. That we're holding hands.
But that is very specific. That they need to take a selfie like this and not have a picture took of them in front of it.
You guys both said a driver, right? Just a driver?
A driver, yes.
Are we counting former drivers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll just saying a driver can be a driver. Doesn't matter if they're active or not.
Watch it's like, well, no, IndyCar is racing this weekend. I was about to say, watch it's like some driver from another series like IndyCar that's just showing up for the race weekend. We're like, I'm at Buc-ee's, y'all.
But Eric's new thing is very specific. It has to be a selfie and not just standing there and someone took a picture of them.
Yes, I'll take that risk.
It doesn't even. Well, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't even have to be in. It doesn't even have to be in Texas if it's just a driver. Watch, it's like some former driver is in the IndyCar race this weekend
or something like that.
I would love to see just the most shoehorned in way possible for these predictions to come true.
Wait. When the way you're saying it, Eric, you said they have to take a selfie with Bucky the Beaver. Are you talking about the statue, or are you talking about just anything?
I'm gonna say any of them because you're saying it
Okay.
has to be a selfie. I'm gonna say it can be any version of the mascot. Could be a
Hey,
photo of
okay.
him, the actual physical costume guy, or a statue.
Hey, you know what?
Okay.
We are fully getting into point number 3 here. Or concise. We are
Mhm.
very concise with
Mhm.
these predictions.
All right. I got to do one more and then we'll be done.
Oh my God. I just saw the most blasphemous super chat we've ever gotten in the history of the show.
Oh, gosh. I'll let
What's
you
so
go.
great about Buc-ee's? I can't believe you would say that, Alex. If you haven't been, you haven't been. Just say you haven't been to
It's an
Buc-ee's.
experience.
He probably still pronounces like Busey's like I did.
Or like I did. I learned and I learned from the error of my ways.
It's okay. At least you guys learned. That's all that matters. We're very inclusive here in the Buc-ee's cult. We want to invite the more the merrier. You know, we want. You know.
We all put on the mascot heads of Buckers and just go one of us.
We're actually about to have one even closer to us here, Eric. They're building one in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, the empire grows.
All right, my last prediction: Chevy will sweep the weekend.
Ooh, okay. So
Fair enough.
I definitely know who you're probably going to go with the Xfinity race. There's some pretty good options in trucks. The Cup race can be the interesting one.
And that's my predictions.
All right. We'll keep you guys updated next week on them. And I need you to put away everything with the chat right now.
Bye,
Get your
chat.
notebooks out.
Bye, chat. Oh, not the notebooks. I'm never prepared.
Handy
I'm
dandy.
always prepared.
notebook.
Sit down in my
Alrighty.
thinking chair and think.
So for the random driver of the week so far this year, actually all time, we're not doing even by year, just all time. Danny is leading Eric 21-20 now. Last week he got Johanna Long correct, as well as a couple weeks ago getting Rob Moroso and Cuckoo Marlin. Eric has gotten of 2 of the last 5 correct, Sheldon Creed and Tim Flock. All right, here we go. This random driver is a New York native. And this random driver also has the same name as a female Olympic gold medal swimmer.
What are those? What are those? That one girl name? Well, shoot. Okay.
Ghost Date. Another man is a boom hair.
Well, I can roll out Michael Phelps.
I love how they said those two in the chat immediately got it. This
The
random
figured it
driver.
out? They already have it.
Mhm.
What?
Oh my God! How? I would not know anything of this.
Someone just put Magic Mike in there. This random driver's first race was at South Boston. First NASCAR race. I just dropped my phone.
Okay, so it's been a minute since they raced South Boston.
Yes. This random driver's first Cup race was at Bristol. Bristol, baby.
A New Yorker who first raced at Bristol.
And South Boston. This random driver had their first season in Cup with 2 different organizations, but had the same crew chief for the whole year.
Interesting.
This random driver has been tweeted about twice by Eric, never by Danny or I.
Wow. Oh, okay. Who could this be?
Eric, you know them.
Who could it be? This random driver I do see. If anyone knows what I'm referencing, good on you. You're awesome. This random driver won in the Cup and Xfinity Series, but not in the Truck Series. That first start in South Boston was a truck start. Yeah, Blue Jimmy and Noah Coleman. I love it. That used to be my favorite show as a kid. The answer is
that a hint?
No. I was just they got it right. It was Zaboomafoo.
Zaboomafoo. Classic.
Yeah.
So they did win in Cup and Xfinity, you said, right?
Yes, not trucks. This random driver has 3 top 10s in the Daytona 500 all time. Best finish
That
of
was a win.
Best finish of 7th twice. This random driver's highest Cup points finish was 24th.
So that win was kind of a miracle, it sounds like.
I was trying to think. I feel like I should know more drivers from New York. That felt like a big hint. Like the swimmer one went right over my head. I guess apparently that's helped the chat out. I'm lost, but I feel like New York should be a big hint, but I don't know.
This random driver is currently 41 years old.
Okay, they're not as old as I thought they'd be then.
I wonder, are they retired or are they still
What would you like the numbers?
41?
Yes, I would love the numbers.
Oh, the car numbers? Yes.
Car numbers, yes. This random driver raced these car numbers: 07, 06, 01, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 14, 15, 18, 19,
I'm running out of ink.
22, 22, 35, 38, 39, 41, 42, 43, 46, 47, 48, 50, 51, 56.
I
You
literally ran out of ink. I
You
literally
ran out of ink.
I ran out of ink as we went. I started
on.
writing them down.
Is there a way I
51
can make you the main
51 and what? 50 what?
51, 56, 58, 60, 63, 65, 78, 88, 92, 95.
Dang, they drove like everything.
Oh my god.
They're running out. Out of ink.
It actually ran out of ink. You could see as I got started fine, and then
These
got back.
these numbers, there's so many possibilities of who they could have actually drove these numbers for.
This is the most wide open one. So, like, what are they? You said they won a cup race and an Xfinity race, but we're never that good. Like, never a championship contender.
But they're only 41.
This is only 12 clues and 1 pen in.
I was gonna guess Clint Boyer, but I know he's from Kansas, and obviously he was better than 24th in points.
This random driver raced Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas.
Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas.
This random driver was a driver in the COVID iRacing Pro Invitational Series in 2020.
They were?
No, I was about to say Justin Haley, like he's 40 years old.
Actually, this random driver before has been a meme on NASCAR Twitter.
Okay.
This random driver has made 224 Cup starts and 208 Xfinity Series starts.
Man.
This random driver has finished top 4 in Xfinity Series points before 3 years in a row, actually. Would you like their career win numbers?
Sure.
6 for Xfinity, 1 for Cup.
1 cup win.
Xfinity, 1 cup win. 41 years old.
We have 2 clues left, by the way.
I'm going to throw a guess out there. I've already forgotten half the clues. Trevor Bayne?
Trevor Bayne.
He's not 40. He's like 30 something.
Is a great wrong answer.
Yeah, that didn't.
He's also from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, he had that coffee shop. I should have known that. That was a wasted guess.
I'm gonna guess Regan Smith.
Oh
Correct.
wow! Oh,
The
job.
6 Xfinity wins, 1 Cup win being Darlington, and then the number 78. And I remember him subbing for Dale Jr. in 88. And I think also he drove the 48 for Johnson at some point.
So what I was thinking was going to tip the first clue, tip people off, was running for 2 organizations and 1 crew chief in their first year in Cup. Again, racing into DEI.
Oh.
Yeah. I literally had the 2 I had left was an analyst for Fox Sports and on the losing side of one of NASCAR's most controversial finishes.
Oh,
That would have gave it away too.
Yeah, I didn't want to get to those because I wanted to still keep it somewhat of a mystery. But that was the random driver of the week.
Good
All
fun.
right, time for Texas.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I'm mad I didn't get it. Dang.
I was just staring at all those numbers. I was like, this should stand out to me. I don't remember him driving the 07. Did he drive it? Like, who was that? RCR?
Xfinity and truck
Oh,
times.
okay.
Different. Yeah, I took all 3 series for that one.
Okay, I'm going to get it back here in the pick points.
All right, well, let's get into Texas.
Yep, let's do it. Some weekend notes. Obviously, Connor Zilish will be out of the Xfinity Series race this weekend. Kyle Larson will drive the number 88 car. Jesse Love will be in the Beard number 62 Cup car this weekend. Riley Herbst will be down in the Xfinity Series driving number 19 car there. Brandon Jones will be in the Tricon number 1 truck. He's been driving that truck quite a lot this season so far. Carson Hocevar will be in the Spire number 7 truck, sponsored by Chili's Ride a Dente. The Cup Series race is the WRF 400, presented by Liqui Moly. 267 lap race, broken up 80 laps in stage 1, 85 laps in stage 2, and 102 laps in stage number 3. The start time for this race is 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Radio coverage, you can listen to it on the Performance Racing Network and Sirius XM. The purse for this weekend is $11,055,250. Weather looking pretty good, pretty solid. 78 degrees, mostly sunny, and only a 10% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race, Chase Elliott, who was sponsored by Hooters, the last ever time we ever saw Hooters in NASCAR.
Hooters.
The Xfinity Series race is the Andes Frozen Custard 300. This is a 200-lap race, 45 laps in stage 1, 45 laps in stage 2, 110 laps in stage number 3. The start time for this race is 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time with TV coverage on the CW. You can listen to it on the Performance Racing Network and Sirius XM. The purse for this weekend is $1,651,939. Weather for Saturday, we got 77 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and a 9% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race, wish we could be saying Ryan Sieg, but it was Sam Mayer in that photo finish we saw last year. The Truck Series race is the SpeedyCash.com 250. It is a 167-lap race with stages broken up 40 laps in stage 1, 40 laps in stage 2, 87 laps in stage number 3. The start time for this weekend's race is 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time with TV coverage on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. You can listen to it on the NASCAR Racing Network and Sirius XM. The purse for this weekend's Truck Series race, $782,900. Man, it's so sad when you look at $11 million for the Cup Series and it's not even $1 million for the Truck Series. Weather for this weekend, 54 degrees, partly cloudy with scattered storms, a 58% chance of rain. So we'll see what happens. The defending winner of this race is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is not in this year's Truck Series race at Texas, so we will have a new winner for that one. The pick points. How are we looking there? Eric is the points leader of 170 points. Jarrett is second, -8. And me and the chat.
That ass.
Me and the chat are technically tied, -11, but chat has the tiebreaker. We each have 4 wins, but chat has 2 Cup wins. I have 2 Xfinity Series wins. So that is the difference between the two of us. So right now I am, by default, Basement Boy. So that means I will be picking first this week.
And truck picks. Let's get it.
Let's talk about it. Who is going to win the Truck Series race? So last year's Truck Series winner was Kyle Busch. I'm going with the guy who won at Texas a couple years ago, Carson Hocevar. Ride the Dente all the way to a Truck Series win at Texas Motor Speedway.
And I think the chat's saying Heim time. Damn it.
Brutal.
All right. So that leaves my third pick. I'm going to go Lane Riggs.
Oh,
Solid.
okay. I will go. Oh, man. I'm not going to do this. I was thinking I was going to go crazy bold. We'll go Daniel Hemrick. I feel like I can count on him for a top 5.
That's a good one.
Well, none of us went with Ty Majeski. I feel like he'd be somebody up there.
They've been snake bit. I thought about Nick Sanchez because he's running another Spire truck in this race.
Oh, damn.
He dominated last year.
Yeah,
he was
in the
really good.
07. I don't know. The thing with Majeski, unless they pick it up at some point, it just doesn't seem the same this year. I've picked him a few times and I've regretted it every time.
I feel like they've had, maybe I've correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like they've had a lot of mechanical issues, or maybe he's made some mistakes too.
Yeah. And Noah Coleman actually pointed out we tried Majeski 3 times. He wrecked all 3.
Yeah.
The Xfinity Series race.
Let's get it.
Hate the reason he's had to step up and be in this race, but I'm going to go Kyle Larson. Every time he's been in an Xfinity Series car, he has seriously contended or he has won the race. Arguably, he probably should have won Homestead if not for a bad restart. He did win Bristol. I'm going to say he will win once again in the Xfinity Series. Kyle Larson.
I think they're going Allgaier in there.
Yep, they're going Allgaier.
Okay, all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. And he's been solid. He's been really solid still. Kept up the performance. And this was one of the places even before the late strategy he ran top 5. So I'll do it. I'll go Ryan Sieg.
He did it.
Wow. Well, I will then have to. I'm glad I got this. This was my second choice. He was on the right end of that photo finish last year. Sam Mayer. I know I picked him at Talladega and it didn't go very well, but he's been super fast every other racetrack this year.
I like that.
All right.
Who's going to suck in the Cup Series race? I hate to say this, and I just want to point this out. I love the car he is racing this weekend in the 7-Eleven colors, but I am going to say Kyle Busch to suck this weekend.
I haven't seen the paint scheme yet. Is it
Yeah,
out there?
They just released, like, it had been seen. Someone had put pictures of it on Twitter a couple weeks ago, but we didn't know what race it would be for. And I remember tweeting, I said, "Oh, is this the race he finally wins in?" I don't see him winning at Texas, unfortunately.
Oh wow, yeah, I see the
for
scheme.
it.
The scheme looks great.
I would love to see him win in that car, but
Yeah.
I don't see it being this weekend.
Hold on. Maybe I can put it up there and see if this is the right one. Let me
Puts up some random car that's not even real.
I might. I don't
It's
know.
an AI car.
Is this it?
Is this your
Not
car?
that.
That is
No.
a Junior Motorsports team statement. Yes, I believe that's right.
That is the car.
I took that off and the studio moved it back in. Oops.
Yes, Kyle Busch is driving a Junior Motorsports statement regarding Connor's Village.
It's gonna be wrapped around the car the same way that it's gonna be wrapped around the car the same way the nicotine warning is on his other cars.
Yeah, just a bunch of small text.
But yeah, I'm going with Kyle Busch to suck, unfortunately.
Who'd the chat have? I think they had Brad.
Yeah, they're going Brad.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, I am gonna go with Eric Jones. I'm not gonna pick another B driver. I'll go Jones on this one.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time feeling good about any one of them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the low hanging fruit would be Brad. I don't want to say Brad. I'm going to say Justin Haley, still getting a feel for the Childers split.
Yeah, that's fair. Who is going to be our Cup Series underdog? Mine was actually pretty easy. I think he's had a finish no worse than 15th over the last few years. I think he's been on a top 10 streak at this track actually for a little bit. I'm going to go Chase Briscoe for my underdog.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I think the chat's going Hocevar.
Yep, they're going Hocevar.
I'm going with the chat. I'm going Hocevar as well.
Yeah, I hate to echo both of you guys, but he's finished 16th and 9th in his 2 career Texas starts. Keep in mind, one of those was a substitution role with Legacy Motor Club.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless, seat time is seat time. He's in the Truck Series race. It's going to help him.
Yeah.
I think there's one more.
Who is going to win the Cup Series race this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway? Last year, I was actually able to go to the Texas race. It was a good time, my first time there. And in the end, we saw Chase Elliott get the win. I don't see Chase Elliott winning 2 years in a row here. And there was a driver who had that race pretty much won. Something went wrong for him. But guys, did you notice? Anytime he has hopped in an Xfinity Series race, he's won on Sunday. Give me Kyle Larson.
Damn it.
Hey, Larson's been really fast here, but his actual finishes the last few years have not been great. Last year, I think he had a loose wheel and a crash. I don't forget about the year before that.
Wow, this is
He had the car though last year before that.
No, he did. He's had the best car arguably every year, but he hasn't won it. He hasn't gotten great finishes lately.
But I will say there's something to that. Every race he's been in the Xfinity Series, he's ended up winning. So that was my main reason.
That's a good point. Chat is going maybe Byron.
Yeah, that's a lot of Byron.
Yeah, they wanted Larson at first, but
pivot.
So I'm getting my number 2 or 3 driver for everyone this weekend. So I'm gonna break off the Hendrick bandwagon and instead go on over to Joe Gibbs Racing, where I'm picking Denny Hamlin is my win pick.
Dennis the Menace.
So Hamlin, all right. Hamlin was not even on my board.
He was racing for the win here.
He was. But when I think mile and a half, so I think Hendrick and I think Ryan Blaney. Best car at Homestead before he blew up. I think he had the best car at Darlington. He's won at Texas before, next gen all-star race with the window net flapping open. I'll take Ryan Blaney.
He's either going to win the race or run up front for the win, or get his 5th DNF of the year.
Yeah, there's no in between. I took a safer pick with my truck guy. Like Hemrick's not going to crash out. Probably he's probably going to run like 6th. So that's like a safe pick. Blaney's my all or nothing. He's my all in. Chips going into the center of the table.
Whose pit crew do you trust the most if it's a late race stop and restart?
Oh, not Ryan Blaney's. That's fair. But tires also don't matter much at Texas. So
fair enough.
Gas and go.
All right. Well,
I guess we better. All that there is left to do is finish off the super chats, and then we're good to get out of here.
Yeah.
So pick back up with Logan and King. Appreciate the $4.99. I don't know if you guys have seen Kenny Wallace's Twitter this week, but he's either the master of Rage Bay or NASCAR is paying him no in between. That's a good point. We were talking a little bit about some people who were kind of just kind of egging it on.
What scares me is if you look in his comments on any social media, the amount of older fans that agree with every single thing he says. So like if he's telling the truth, like that's bad enough. If he's trolling and that many people are like all for it, I think that's scarier.
Yeah, that's true. Appreciate the $4.99 from SW. Bubba is like that Fast and Furious arcade game when the announcer says, "Hit the nitrous." It'll be more awesome if Bubba was in 10th than the first.
Yeah, he gained a bunch of positions on that last lap at Dega when kind of the pack got shuffled up in front of him. I think because somebody ran out of gas and somebody else got shuffled out.
Yep. Isaac B24, appreciate the $4.99. With the DQ, Logano's now the furthest into a season for a defending champion to have 0 top 5s since Bill Rexford. That trophy was 100% of a monkey's paw.
Monkey's paw. Oh my gosh.
I like the creativity.
I mean, but this just sounds like the type of season that means Logano will win again, right? I mean, that's just how this goes for him.
No, it's an odd number year.
It'll be centric this year. Still got to be a Penske guy, remember?
That's true.
That's true. We were talking about earlier. It's his time. It's his coming out party. So
if it comes true, I need somebody to clip that and then tag me in November, because that would be one of the greatest predictions that was not meant to be a prediction ever. And I'll just be like, see, I know what I'm talking about. I got it all right, man.
Evan Carlson, appreciate $1.99. Are the SHR charters that they sold cursed? There must be something. Tony Stewart put some kind of voodoo on that when he was leaving NASCAR.
Yeah, wait, because the 35 is like last in points, the 88 is like last in points, and where's Gregson's like last in points, right?
Pretty far back.
Yeah, that's true. Shoot, they're right.
At least Gregson just got a 4th place finish. So
yeah, he may be a little better now. I don't know.
Alex Love, appreciate the $5. To quote the hit song by Asia on Joey's rant, it was the heat of the moment.
That it was a heated moment. That is for sure.
Here is our weekly visit from Vogues. Appreciate the $20, Vogues. Just double checking that we're all still down for tax evasion Tuesday next week, right? Not I. I put mine in, and we're all solid. We're good on that part.
Next Tuesday. Wait, wasn't tax day like a few weeks ago?
Yes, it was. So now it's time to evade. If you missed it,
I see. Well, maybe you should have fled the country already. The evasion's been done.
505 Doom. Appreciate the $10 from you. NASCAR have 4 to 7 years before it goes belly up in the broken water. I don't know if it's really. I just don't see a day where it like truly just goes away. Like we were talking about
No,
IndyCar a little bit, and it's like maybe there's a day where IndyCar is not a full series, but the Indy 500 and a few races will still exist. I could never see NASCAR just suddenly like we're not doing this ever again.
It would evolve, and I mean, I think it'll last at least the length of this TV deal. So that's 6 more years.
It's like there may be a day where racing in general is weird, and there is just no season. It's just like in terms of a points champion, it could just be like, here's the races, come out and win your money. I don't know. I don't see NASCAR ever getting to the point where it's just gone entirely. Ryan Boucher, appreciate the $5 from you. I know this is a NASCAR podcast, but Mike Sullivan had agreed to part ways from Pittsburgh. It'll be interesting who takes over.
Who is Mike Sullivan?
Yeah, I'm
Is this
sorry.
hockey?
Let me get a Google real quick on who.
Because I know I know baseball, basketball, football, and even college football decently. I don't know.
Okay, he's an American ice hockey coach.
Oof. So that must mean, did Pittsburgh get knocked out of the playoffs early or something? Because I think their playoffs are happening right now.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not really sure how hockey's going. The Preds sucked this year, so I didn't really pay attention.
Blame the Fenway Sports Group for the Penguins' demise, says Napa Racing Fan in the chat.
Bobby Blair, appreciate it, $9.99 from you. When Fox went to commercial with 5 to go, I almost changed the channel. Like, come on, it's 5 to go. Absolutely pitiful. I can't imagine what casuals were thinking.
Pitiful. I'd love that. I think that word needs to be used more. Good use of the word there, Bobby.
That's true. Very good word. Groovy Goose, good to see you. Appreciate the $4.99. Danny B's throwing it back comment about Logano gives a whole new meaning to the throwback weekend. Thanks for the stream, guy. Appreciate you being here, Groovy Goose. Good to see you.
That's funny.
Daniel Meredith Jr., appreciate the $4.99. Got me a ticket for Dover. Love Dover. Go Larson. I would love to see a night race at Dover. I don't think they have lights, but that would be an interesting track to eventually see get lights.
The monster comes out after dark.
I'll be going to Dover. That's the plan, at least. That other in Nashville and maybe the Daytona night race. That's the only other race that I have on my schedule. I'm going to try to go to and see a new track this year. So looking forward to Dover this year.
Throw a beach ball on the track for my prediction.
Yeah, and get my essential pass revoked. Yeah.
Shh, they don't need to know it's you. There's only 1 million cameras there. Maybe there'll be a Fox Sports producer that'll be doing the broadcast and they'll completely miss it. Just don't be near kids.
Tony Suarez, appreciate it, $4.99. Did any of you guys notice during one of the side-by-sides for commercial, it switched to Fox's ghost car thing for a few seconds? I saw that.
Just reminded me how badly I missed having Race View on my laptop as a second screen. The Max thing is cool, but man, Race View is legit.
Daniel Meredith Jr., appreciate it, $9.99. Eric, I agree with what you said on your show, pre and post race on the cars. I'm a Class A CDL driver. I have to do a pre and post trip. The reason is for safety. Can't cut corners on the DOT gets you.
Yeah, it's. I think what I was talking about on the show was how little time there is to thoroughly inspect every car pre-race because they have 40 cars in each series. The weekends are already condensed enough as they are, and it sounds like he's talking about even just traveling to the track. It can be tight. The window's tight. So yeah, maybe they can adjust the procedures in some way, shape, or form. But I mean, it's always easier said than done.
This is a classic Family Guy reference coming up here from SW. Appreciate the $4.99. Chastain be like, ha 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 ha. Those animals are so freaking funny. It makes me want to block Toyota without looking. Yeah, Rams found.
That's a good one.
Ryan Idiot, appreciate the $2 Canadian. Was frustrated at the caution till I saw the crash. Talking about the Connor Zillish crash is what he's referring to. I agree. Yeah, I was frustrated, but then once you know what happened, it's like, yeah, I can't get too mad about that then.
Yeah, definitely glad they got medical people over there pretty quick.
Aiden Whittick, appreciate the $5 from you. Thank you guys. You got me back into NASCAR going into 2021 since Larson was gone. And ever since, you all are my go-to for content, especially Eric. Appreciate that, Aiden. Happy to hear it. We're able to help you out a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for supporting the show.
Thank you.
Isaac V24, appreciate $1.99. I think the season broke Jarrett. LOL. The only thing that he's looking forward to is the birth of his child right now.
Yeah, that in Texas. I'm looking. The last four have been bad enough. I'm looking forward to Texas, and then, well, Kansas coming up. Kansas coming up.
That's what you really need to look forward to.
Yeah, Kansas.
What's so great about dumb old Texas?
That it's not
No,
a short track or a road course with this car.
I was joking with Risk because I've made it known I haven't been a fan of the last couple races. I'm like, watch Texas is bad. Watch Kansas has an uncharacteristically bad race. The Wilkesboro All-Star race won't be the greatest. And then either like Charlotte or Michigan or Mexico or Nashville. Like one of those weeks is when the baby will be born. And that'll be the first race I missed since 2004. Will be the first good race that we have.
I mean, I have a feeling, kind of like a couple years ago, the Coke 600 will probably be one of the best races of the year, like it has been for a little bit. Because that's when people start realizing, like, hey, can we get rid of the Roval now already? For crying out loud. Appreciate the $5.02 from Shorty PJM. Hashtag Austin Wendrick, indeed. Plus BW P7 in points. About grade me with the stage 1 blocks though. Plus my family revisited and ate near Daytona International Speedway on Sunday. It's a good time to be Shorty PJM. You just need, her other drivers are Bowman and Blaney. Just need those two guys to find a way to victory lane, and Bubba needs to get to victory lane, and they'll be having the season of their life right there. Hunter Nixon Fishing, appreciated $9.99 from you. I get so frustrated with Fox and the executives. Then I go play golf, and all of a sudden I'm not so frustrated with Fox.
Something else to be frustrated with.
I would be awful at golf. Hunter, be like me, stick to fishing, bud.
I am awful at golf. The few times I've went.
If I'm going to go stand outside all day with a big long stick in my hand, I'd rather it be a fishing rod and I can at least fight something with it.
Throwing it back.
Danny talking about his big long stick
in his hand.
Big long stick, get fought by a big bass, and he throws it back out of the water.
And if he's lucky, he'll get a little wet. I broke Danny.
Went on Saturday with bleeding all over me, actually.
Whoa. What the?
True statement, but.
Spam Eagles in the chat. Oh, man.
Red Dog 81, appreciate the $5. Did you see Mike Joy's comments on the Happy Hour podcast about NASCAR having trouble attracting new fans? And if so, what are your thoughts? I don't watch Happy Hour podcast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he kind of just mentioned in passing, like, sports kind of struggling to reach specifically younger fans. And I mean, I think we can all attest to the importance of a strong console video game that they haven't had for several years. I saw a post from Adam Stern today that one of their, I think, Roblox or Fortnite crossover things apparently has reached millions and millions of players, which that's a really good sign. But, the product on track, aside from the last few weeks, has generally been good. I mean, last season was full of highlights and phenomenal moments. But once fans get here, once you hook them in with the viral moment, like a 3-wide Atlanta finish or the Ross Chastain riding the wall, how do you keep them here? And I think it's YouTube content. I think it's a strong social media presence, a strong video game was how we all learned the drivers and tracks. I think those are the clear-cut places they can start to keep the new young fans that they might get attention from.
Yeah. Gary Buki, appreciate the $10 from you. I mentioned this on Jarrett's stream, but did any of y'all see Hocevar sliced Frito-Pack down to the back stretch with like 20 to go and dirt track it? Fox didn't comment it, but I was like, yo. Well,
hey, yo.
That's probably part of the reason, he ended up in the top 10. So good moves by him, helped him get in a position where he needed to be. Chase Fan 9, appreciate the $4.99 from you. What is it with Cindric pissing his teammates off? Reminds me of when he fenced Blaney to win the 500. I'm not even a Blaney fan, but that was foul.
Yeah, I mean, it was 100 yards from the line in the Daytona 500. It was far from the most egregious thing we've seen, but I get that. It's just a Penske thing.
That was also his rookie season, so.
Yeah, it's also just a Penske thing in general. I mean, we know Cindric is a little bit of a hothead. I mean, he's right hooked somebody at least once this year, maybe twice. But like also back when Keselowski was there, he and Keselowski used to call out Logano at drafting tracks for throwing bad blocks. Like they're up front at these tracks a lot. They race around each other a lot, and they make mistakes a lot. And naturally, if you're racing around someone a lot, you're going to make mistakes sometimes. And I just think that naturally leads to some additional tension.
Daniel Meredith Jr., appreciate the $4.99 from you. NASCAR, go back to the 5 lug nuts and put the number back in the middle of the door. Add some horsepower to the cars at All-Star Race.
Spam American flags in the chat, baby.
That would be the true throwback race in this case.
I will say this, with all due respect to friend of the show, legend Mark Martin, the door numbers being pushed forward are the least of our worries as an industry right now.
Yep.
I'd agree.
Yeah. And at this point, we have such great graphic designers in and around NASCAR. For the most part, they're making these games look good. I could care less about the numbers at this point. Kevin Perriman, appreciate the $4.99. I personally enjoyed the Talladega race. I like the fact of a 60-lap green run to the finish and no big one at Talladega. I get where you're at, Kevin. That was immediately my first reaction was a good, clean finish. That's what we needed to see after the way these last few Superspeedway races I feel like have gone. But at what cost, I guess.
Yeah.
Daniel Meredith Jr., appreciate $1.99 from you. My prediction, Tony Stewart will practice the 5 car. I guess that would be saying that he would practice the 5 car for Larson while he's busy doing Indy stuff. I haven't checked to see the NHRA schedule and how that conflicts with it all, honestly. So
based on Tony's recent comments, I don't think he's going near NASCAR unless they pay him at this point. It sounds like it'll be all Geyer again was the indication Jeff Gordon gave.
Yeah, I think Tony has had his fun of NASCAR and he doesn't like the way it's going.
I do wish I could get somebody like interesting in the car, seeing how it's a race. It really doesn't matter, but it's like, Hendrick execs try not to be boring, challenge impossible.
They keep talking though about like it needs to be someone similar size to Larson, so that does limit your options to an extent. But yeah, it would be fun to put Justin Haley in the car since there was all those Haley to Hendrick. There's been all that Haley to Hendrick speculation.
I mean, get Casey Kane out there.
Yeah,
be his car.
They're close enough in size. Maybe you could make it work.
I thought Casey was taller. Am I wrong?
He's definitely taller,
he's
but
very skinny.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like a lot taller.
He's like, this is my car again. Where's the farmer's insurance?
He goes out and finishes second to Kenseth again.
It's like the car is the same colors, but everything looks different.
Eric, don't listen. Alex Luff, appreciate the $5. What's so great about Buc-ee's? Seems like just a regular grocery chain to me. No different than Hannaford or ShopRite.
I've never heard of those two brands you just listed. Buc-ee's, I think anyone who's been can attest it is far more than a typical grocery store.
Quick Trip on steroids.
Hold on. I want to look up ShopRite real quick. What is that?
It is. I mean, the bathroom. You could eat your dinner off the bathroom floor.
It's so clean.
It is so clean, pristine. The workers are nice. They got a beaver mascot roaming the halls.
It smells like beaver in there.
The gas is cheap.
They have hunting accessories at Buc-ee's, but without the rifles. Like it's such a interesting place of what all they have
You
and
can
don't
kill
have.
animals with your bare hands. And the amount of gas pumps too are insane.
Yeah, it's a
And the gas.
I don't even wait. I just see
the-
I hope we're not piling on Alex too much because I just looked in the chat and his only message says message retracted. Sorry,
the thing about Buc-ee's though, you are not going to find cheaper gas if you find a Buc-ee's nearby. It is always going to be significantly cheaper than any other place.
Did you ever hear the story? Because so they have their own, like, they produce their own gasoline and oil and all.
Being from Texas, that makes sense.
I guess so.
Yeah, and so a lot of the oil companies got really pissed because Buc-ee's basically could do whatever price they wanted. So like they could go as cheap as possible. And at first they did. And so they had to have the freaking US government and all the big fat cats over there step in and make sure that they had to price it within a certain range so that they wouldn't drive the other gas stations out of business. Buc-ee's is awesome. Like, go to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is legit. Probably the best thing Texas has ever produced, besides the Houston "we have a problem" meme.
It's like
the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the mix of the biggest gas station ever, mixed with a Quick Trip. If you've been up in the Midwest and been at a Quick Trip, mixed with a Cracker Barrel, mixed with just everything great about Texas.
Southern hospitality.
Just go get a Texas cheesesteak burrito and you'll understand.
That's a choice.
Understand what Buc-ee's is.
I would have said pick something off the barbecue like brisket stand. They have all sorts of meats, but the brisket's pretty solid. But yeah, that too. Go for it. Go nuts.
And get a paddle tail. Those are low key good.
I have not actually had that.
You've not had a paddle tail?
I've not had that from Buc-ee's, but I'll add it to my list. I got to go.
You better get going to Buc-ee's right now.
I'll be there this weekend.
Justin Drake, appreciate the $4.99. This is a funny one. Regan Smith really got passed around by numbers more than OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
Will Griffin, appreciate the $5 from you. I got Regan after the first question. Secondly, I want to see the HMS Alliance teams say screw the fuel saving and go full speed during Daytona in July. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's your last chance to get in the playoffs. You need to make it happen.
Let's do it.
Blake Feeman, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Elton Sawyer raced in the 90s. Of course he likes the package. It's very similar to races in that time period. Change does need to be made.
At least they could separate back then.
Will Griffin, appreciate the $5 and quotes, we need to raise the bar. But, sir, the bar doesn't exist. If you know, you know. Ryan, mother effing Sieg for the Texas win. I'll be at Dover and Pocono.
All right. Got the Sieg steam engine leaving the station.
Yeah. Motorsports fan, appreciate the $4.99. You guys are my favorite NASCAR YouTubers. Appreciate that, Motorsports fan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $5. Who is the Shedeur Sanders of NASCAR? The hyped up kid of a Hall of Famer that totally fell apart before even getting to Cup. I've got Stephen Wallace. That would be my answer too.
Steve Wallace.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that we could even like.
He's not to the same extent, but I mean, when you compare Kyle to Richard Petty.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but that's a good point. That's like a drop off. But even like Kyle Petty didn't like flame out of the sport. He had a very long career.
He's not a son, but a brother, Michael Waltrip to Darrell Waltrip.
Yeah, but that's the tough thing is all these people still had like long careers, even if they weren't super successful. Like I think they're suggesting that like Jarrett's take that Shedeur is going to be out of the league in a few years. Like who would that? Like, that's a tough one.
That here's a few good ones. Justin Labonte and Jason Jarrett. Those are actually good ones.
Oh, I don't even think of those. Yeah, okay.
All right, putting those down for the random driver list.
Oh, you already got me stumped. Unless you mentioned this moment.
Napa Racing Fan 927, appreciate the $5 from you. Thoughts on Rick Allen's interview on Dale Jr. Download? Will he return to a NASCAR booth? Little is a great pit reporter, but not play-by-play. Bring Rick back to trucks. I've been saying that for a while. There is a much better person, more qualified 40 Fox lead person with trucks who had a long time calling Truck Series races on the Speed Network, and he is being wasted away doing PA announcing right now.
I just think Fox is too cheap. I think they like having Jamie Little there because she's basically a pit reporter by day, play-by-play by night. They only have to pay one salary. Like they don't want to pay a second person.
2 for 1.
That's how I feel about it. That's probably why they didn't go after Rick Allen in the first place.
I mean, there's no way to know this, but she may be getting a bigger salary now, taking on more work. But
she might be, but it's probably not equivalent to paying 2 people, especially like Rick Allen. He's not going to work for free. I mean, the guy's been a Cup broadcaster for 10 or 12 years. Like he's going to command a respectable salary at this stage in his career. And my guess is Fox is too cheap to even consider it. But maybe my theory is if and when Mike Joy retires in the next few years, Jamie Little, maybe she's taken huge steps forward by then. Maybe someone like an Eric Brennan is more developed, but my guess is they'll still be a little too young, a little too green. That could be a spot for Rick Allen to jump in a couple of years and take over the Fox Cup broadcasts until someone else is ready.
For a second, Eric, you scared me. I thought you were trying to suggest that Jamie Little was going to replace Mike Joy.
I'm saying right now, if Mike Joy retired tomorrow, she probably would. And I'm saying they can't. That's when you got to call Rick Allen.
Do not give me that world.
Here's the other thing that we got to keep in mind too. How willing are you as an announcer, Cup, for Mike Joy and especially trucks right now with the experimentation of it? How open are you as an announcer to being in a studio instead of at the track? Because that's the future and that's where they're going with it.
That's true.
Which is why we commend our good buddy John Ramos for being in a position where I feel like he can do both. He's used to watching stuff virtually through iRacing, but he can also hop in the booth at Nashville Fairground Speedway or at another track somewhere, and he can call it either way. Guys like him are going to be setting themselves up good for the future.
Yep.
Indy Carson 2025. Appreciate the $4.99 from you. This season is worse than 2008. I've only watched 2.5 races this year. That's how bad I think it is. No favorite driver equals not worth it unless in person.
It's an interesting take to have only watched 2 races and say it's the worst season ever. I understand if your interest is at an all-time low. That's fair to say. Yeah. I
mean, to me, 2008 and 2018 are the 2 low benchmarks. Like where I'm like,
I would agree.
You gotta. I'm not going to give that kind of grade until we get to the end of the year because I've seen great seasons putter out and I've seen really terrible seasons that have bangers at the end of the year that get me more excited than ever for Daytona.
What is it with years and 8? I mean, I know Earnhardt won the 98 Daytona 500, but I don't remember if 98 season was good or bad.
I mean, if you don't like domination, you would have hated that season, especially unless you were a Jeff Gordon or Mark Martin fan. But that was 98.
Isaac B24, appreciate the $1.99 from you. Prediction: Keselowski retires after the season. I don't know when to expect Brad to retire now, in all honesty.
Depends what happens to that third charter with the whole deal. Maybe he retires and gives the seat to Preece.
That could force his hand. That'd be interesting.
Alex, appreciated $2. What do you all think of Matt DiBenedetto now? I think he's just doing the best he can.
I still think he's what he's always been. I think he's a solid driver, probably above average, but right now he's in like the satellite team of a satellite team.
He will never get a better ride than he had with the 21 in Cup.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
This isn't really a super chat, but I'm going to answer this one real quick from Rogue, who asked, Danny, what's your personal best bass that you've caught? In terms of just like largemouth, smallmouth, probably somewhere between 6 and 7 pounds. I'd like to catch something bigger than that, but it's been a while since I caught a fish that that good. So I'd like to be able to break that at some point this year or in the next few years. Good question. Just noticed that one. Justin Drake, appreciate a $4.99. You retracted your message, but appreciate that. But didn't appreciate the extra $4.99 you gave, where he said, Eric, ain't no way Jamie Little can take that big of steps to be even half of current day Mike Joy. Free Rick Allen.
Maybe she takes a long jump.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. I'm saying she is not ready, is what I'm saying. I'm saying, but if the question was if Mike Joy retired tomorrow, who would Fox pull up? Probably Jamie Little. I'm just saying she is right now the backup quarterback. I don't agree that she should be the backup quarterback, but that's kind of the role she's in right now.
She's break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah, and I hope she gets better. I thought when Hocevar was in the booth with her and Walter for Rockingham, she was better because she wasn't speaking like she was underwater, speaking in slow motion until the last lap when she forgot it was the end of the race. Other than that moment, I thought Jamie Little was actually decent at Rockingham. So hopefully she just keeps getting better. That's what we can hope for.
Since the draft just got done, Jamie Little, like my Tennessee Titans, is like Will Levis. We just got possibly. We just got Cam Ward. The job is 110% Cam Ward's right now. But we have Will Levis who has starting experience, but we know Will Levis is not great and we do not want to see him touch the field.
Damn. That's brutal.
Yeah. Best example I can explain it. And that'll do it. We're done with NWP this week.
Hey, I want to show you something funny during the super chat segment. Something I was doing.
Just tearing down your wall. Tear down this wall, Iceberg.
Mr. Iceberg, tear down this wall.
Wow, he's getting a head start on the move. Well, I guess
he's ready to head out, which I'm ready to head out too because I got to actually get something over to Jarrett real quick, and I got to go to Planet Fitness because I never got a chance to go today, and I need to make sure I go. We're going to be on Eric's channel next week featuring auto racing analytics. See you then, 8:00 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about what happened at Eric's favorite racetrack ever, Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, boys. Before we go, shout out Houston Rockets. Extended the series tonight. Needed that for my own mental health and sanity. One day the Warriors will be vanquished. I don't know if it'll be this day, but one day.
Warriors.
It's not happening now. It's not happening tomorrow. It'll happen one day.
One day.
One day we're going to leave. So I guess.
Drivers, start your
3, 2, 1.
green flag.
Started off right now.
Right on, come on.
Get outside.
3 wide, 3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggressive. We probably dropped a pretty far.
You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing?
You've got to be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to
See you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Coming to light. Here low. Come back bottom.
That was incredible.